Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
When it comes to historic racetracks on the NASCAR circuit, it doesn't get much more historic than Martinsville, deep in Virginia. Not only the track type, nicknamed the paperclip, you also get pretty good hot dogs at a venue like this, and the racing is just as good as it gets. Welcome everyone tonight here for the Slim Chickens NASCAR Cup Series presented by Tier1 SetupShop.com, part of the Mystic Racing League. The Sheets 250 at Martinsville is about to get underway, and it's going to be an exciting 250 laps tonight. Hi everyone, I'm Connor Horn, lead commentator tonight. Sagar Bakshi will be production, doing the heavy lifting tonight, and joining me in the booth as well for this race at Martinsville Speedway. 4th of July Open 1947, it's been a staple in the NASCAR Cup Series and other series ever since its half mile. Nicknamed Paperclip Racetrack, 4 corners, barely any banking, and so much fun, and it's going to be such a fun race tonight. Top 20 drivers in the point standings had a crazy race at Chicagoland last week, saw a lot of drivers exit the race early. Aaron Baum was able to take over the points lead after a 6th place finish. He takes it over Isaac Wilson. River Hayes moves up to 3rd. He had the win last week at Chicagoland. He's moved up into the standings, and you still have plenty of other drivers who are going to be in the hunt tonight, but it should be a fun 250 laps. We're going to go live to the racetrack, already pacing, so we're going to get right into the action. A field of about 30 cars tonight. Was originally scheduled for 300 laps. It's going to end up being 250 laps as we are going to get a few laps pacing. We will get through the starting order in just a moment. See, timing and scoring will be on the left side of your screen. Andrew Allen's going to be on the pole tonight. He will lead everyone to the green. Andrew Allen, 18.734, very fast time. We'll go over the weather in just a bit. He starts first. River Hayes will start in the 2nd position, trying to go back-to-back at his 3rd win of the season. Christian Barnes will start 3rd. Colin Bollinger, in the 4th position. Isaac Brock 5th. Rayshawn Wingfield, the number 35, will start in the 6th position. A Coke Zero Toyota Camry. Gavin Hinson starts 8th. Jack Fiffner under him will start 7th. Jacob Cochran will start in the 9th position. Zachary King back this week. He'll start in the 10th position.
11th goes to Dustin Lewis and Beckett Brown in the 12th spot. Charles Robertson in 13th, with 14th belonging to Andrew Shoby. In 15th, John Ullman and Caleb Hunt in 16th. Aaron Baum and Brad T. Nelson in 18th. Lauren Vincent and Zach White alongside each other.
Devin Kerr will start 21st. He was out early last week. He'll start alongside Reggie Kime, who also had an early exit last week. Alan Zukov, Harold Tucker will be in an extra, row number 12. David Moyer, the 47, alongside Isaac Wilson in a Ford Mustang. Jared Knopfsnyder, who had a crazy race last week. He'll start back in 27th alongside Zachary Mertz, who I don't believe will make the start, but he's lined up at 28th. McCoy Benke, the 05, 29th. And race control back there who maybe accidentally joined the session. So roughly 29 to 30 cars will start tonight at Martinsville, and the pace car ready to go off. We're going to get right into the action here. We don't have to wait. It's Martinsville. We want to get to the action as quickly as possible. 250 laps around Martinsville Speedway. I'm glad you're here with us here on VSPEED. Into the restart zone. Green flag's out. We're racing in the Slim Chickens Cup Series. One clean lap under our belts, and Allen leads the first lap. Andrew Allen, good jump on the initial start, and it's about a half-second lead already over Christian Barnes, who's already got the second position. Hayes drops back to third.
Good looking run for the race leader of Andrew Allen, but be wary of this 53 Colin Bollinger right now, trying to charge up the field around the outside, taking to the exit there of turn 3 or turn 4, let's call it, in the Dr. Pepper mobile. And he's looking like he's taking a line that's a little bit different than everybody else.
Spin.
Can you tell me about that? Oh, Caleb Hunt.
Looked like Jack Fiffner actually got spun into turn number 3 in the background, so that's our first caution of the night. Just as quickly as we got going, we'll slow it on down. The 55 of Fiffner maybe got a boot into turn 3. We'll have to go look at the replay, as he might be stuck on the curb. That is the worst place to spin out, because that curb and that diffuser looks like he's gotten stuck on it. Oh, well, you did not get a boot. Like possibly just locked it up. Next gen cars, very easy to do so. Very tough racetrack to get this next gen car set up for, and looked like he maybe got loose in the corner. Then we slammed the brakes and just spun around. So Fiffner will probably go a lap down here. He'll have to get the lucky dog in a few laps possibly.
Yeah, first one to fall behind on the lead lap. Really unfortunate there, but like you said, pretty easy to lock up these under the braking zones. And I was kind of hinting at that turn 3 entrance, and I'm not an oval expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I was talking to Morgan Cook earlier on, and he was telling me that it's a little bit uneven there as the concrete transitions to asphalt. Is that true, and have you ever experienced that before?
It is a little awkward. I think it's awkward in the turn 1 as well, but I think it's definitely worse in the turn number 3, because it's almost like you're going downhill in a sense, and you're going to experience some funky things in this car as you go around it 250 times, or at least 244 more times for these drivers. And the way the braking is in these next-gen cars, it's really hard to straight-line brake, which is pretty much what you have to do here. So if you get a little bit sideways under braking, you're not going to be able to catch it. You're probably going to have to loop it and just hope the rest of the field doesn't end up hitting you when you spin out in front of 25 other cars. So a pretty impressive part of that. The most impressive part of that was probably that, in fact, Fiffner didn't get hit and he's got no damage. He's gone a lap down, but he can go for another day and get the lucky dog, hopefully in a few laps or so.
Absolutely, that lucky dog being a very interesting thing here. Let's take a quick look at the race analysis as well here. Race length of 250 laps. We got stages at 60 and at 130 with 5 tire sets available with unlimited green-white checkers attempts, 50% fuel, and the setups are all brought to you by Tier1SetupShop.com.
A 50% fuel tank. I believe last week it was 60, so a little bit of a change for this race at Martinsville. Probably won't need green flag pit stops during the stages, but there's a possibility in the final stage if we get a long enough run with a 120 lap final stage. Could get some green flag pit stops. It is a rarity at Martinsville, but we're not opposed to it by any means as we go one more lap around as the restart got delayed. So Andrew Allen off to a good start, got the lead straight away, pulled away. River Hayes did get back, or at least he will restart back in the second position. He did fall to third, got passed by Christian Barnes. Barnes has decided to choose on the inside line. Remember, we have the choose rule to Slim Chickens NASCAR Cup Series, so everyone can choose whichever line they want at a certain point on the racetrack. So instead of taking the outside front row, 27 decided to go to the inside of row number 2, which is a very important thing. We're going to see that all race long here at Martinsville. That inside line, you do not want to get caught up on the outside part of the racetrack. You can make time up there, but not really where you want to be. Initial start out of the way, first yellow out of the way, back into the restart zone. In the first restart of the race, Andrew Allen leads us down. We're back racing.
Good looking restart here from the entire field now, but a better run as Andrew Allen escapes the grasp of River Hayes behind. In the backfield, the 27 and the 21 are going to go toe-to-toe, and that'll be the 27 and 21 of Isaac Brock trying to go the long way around.
Isaac Brock, that outside line, it can work. You really have to pinch your driver off to your inside. Hard to make it work at a track this tight. Allen leads. Hayes second. The side-by-side battle for third already almost contacted. We're going to see racing that tight for the next 240 laps all the way throughout the field, not just for the third position. They continue to battle. Colin Bollinger sits behind them, waiting for somewhere to go in the middle of this battle.
And there's also a battle behind between Beckett Brown and Gavin Hinson as well.
There he
settled
goes.
down, and there's a spin from Brock, it looks like. And will that be our second caution of the evening as I try to find Brock as quickly as possible now. He's still stuck there on the racetrack. Finally gets it pointed around in the right direction. Let's get a replay of what happened to Brock.
Like some more drivers might have been involved. I saw Zach White stopped somewhere too, but we're watching that battle for third. Looks like it went awry as 27 doesn't look like Christian Barnes went up too much, but Isaac Brock and him do make contact, and then he's sitting there. Yellow is called, and trying to see, oh, there's Zach White, the 77. I haven't talked about him yet tonight, but he kind of came in a little late and couldn't check up, so he might have damage as well. But a quick second caution tonight.
Yeah, and Again, I'm not an oval expert by any means. I wouldn't call this caution breeding cautions, right? It didn't happen within a lap or two of the main incident, so I wouldn't call it that way. Now, inform me if I am wrong. We're going to have the lucky dog period come out now, correct?
That would be correct. So the first driver who was one lap down at the time of caution will get the free pass, aka the lucky dog, same thing, as long as they didn't get an incident. Per iRacing, which I believe they didn't. So it actually is not Jack Fiffner. It was actually the 93 of Isaac Wilson, who I believe was close to being the points leader going into, if not the points leader going into Chicagoland. He did not have a good race last week. Was all over the place, had multiple incidents. So the 55 left to wait. It's the 93 of Isaac Wilson getting the lucky dog.
And there is the Sword Dog sponsored number 93 making their way around the track to the back of the pack. And we'll see what the safety car has in store for us in just a few moments. I believe the lights are still on, so we'll sit behind the safety car for a few more laps.
Alan Zukov gets an EOL penalty called for speeding. That is sometimes that is called by iRacing. Most of the time it's called by iRacing, but every now and then the race control in the session for these Slim Chickens Cup Series races will call them for speeding as well. So 46 will start tail end of the field, as we'll see if we get to choose this time by. It's probably the dotted line in the middle of the racetrack. We don't know that for sure, but if I had to guess, that would be the case. If I really just go as far high or as far high or as far low as you can go, and that's your choose. As you can see, a lot of drivers picking the inside part of the racetrack. The next driver to pick the outside of the front row is going to be Rayshawn Wingfield in the 35. River Hazy got the runner-up spot from just jumping that lane up to that front row, but he's decided to go back to the inside part of the racetrack.
The 01 will lead us again behind the pace car for this restart. Now, if you're Andrew Allen, how do you control the field behind you and really just get that gap that you had 2 times previously?
Get to the restart zone. As long as he can get through the gears well, doesn't have any wheel spin, he can get into turn number 1 with a pretty big gap over whether it's River Hayes or Rayshawn Wingfield that settles into second. He just gets a good enough jump, no wheel spin. He can get a pretty good gap, and then at that point, he can set his own pace. As long as he set a fast enough pace, I would not assume the 3581 or anyone behind him would want to put the bumper to him this early. That's something we'll see later in the race, but probably not on lap 18 on our second restart of the night. So we'll come back into the restart zone through turns 3 and 4. Second restart of the night. Working our second caution, Andrew Allen leads us off back green into turn number 1. Big move to the inside. Wingfield immediately getting down in front of River Hayes. Maybe they cut a deal, maybe not. Either way, but 35 gets the second.
Big checkup with the wall for the 39 right in front of the Dominoes, number 27. I'll be driven by Christian Barnes, and there is a huge wreck in the backfield and at least 4 cars collected in that, including, I believe, Lauren Vincent and Reggie Keem.
I saw Caleb Hunt in there as well. Looked like Andrew Shobe, the 45, a name we did not see last week, also involved. As you can see, Reggie Keim catching back up the field. He had an early exit last week. As you'll get another instant replay, as actually it happens up ahead of him, and he spins to avoid it and gets collected in a separate incident. And Aaron Balmer, series points leader, got a piece of that.
And that would be the 45 of Andrew Shobe. See if we can get a replay of what actually happened here.
Turn 3 has certainly been the trouble spot. Yeah, that was the same exact thing we saw in the first yellow. It's like he ends up wanting to check up for the driver ahead of him and then ends up spitting it out himself, and it kind of caused a chain reaction. So another incident in the turn number 3. It's our third caution of the night in just 20 laps or so. So a little bit of a slow start. Andrew Allen's led pretty much all of them so far, as all those drivers involved in that will bring it down the pit lane.
Now that's really going to set the field apart now. Those that have pit and those that have not pit, forcing a nice buffer. We were kind of talking about this in the pre-race. The driver should be able to go this entire first stage without having to come down pit road. So those drivers that have had made those pit stops are really going to be handicapped looking for points in the second stage of the race, looking for that long-term strategy rather than the short-term strategy at this point of their race.
Well, another lucky dog comes. Jack Fiffner. This time he does get the lucky dog. He'll be back on the lead lap. That'll leave Harold Tucker and Zach White as I believe the only drivers a lap down, and both of them are on pit lane repairing damage. So that will leave us 26 drivers lead lap for the time being, as we'll get another double file restart, and we'll, I assume, get another choose here this time by. If Andrew Allen switches things up, I would be shocked if the leader ever took the outside tonight. You'll almost certainly never see it. And it seems like second place, the theme for them is going to take the inside of row number 2 and not even mess with the outside front row another time. So Wingfield and Hayes, they're going to keep trading those spots, second and third, back and forth, as long as they possibly can. Such a historic racetrack, such a fun event. If we could just get some green flag running, we could show how awesome this racetrack is. It's so fun. I've been here in person a few times. I saw NASCAR Cup Series champion Brad Keselowski win here. I saw a fight here about 4 years ago in what was then the Xfinity Series with Ty Gibbs and Sam Mayer, if anyone remembers that. That was incredible. I lost my voice yelling at that race. And then it snowed the day after for the Cup race. But a very fun track. It gets better every single year, and it's always chaotic, and it should be a pretty fun run. Once we get the green flag running, it should be a blast. And it's just a matter of who can get to that lap 60 mark and get the most stage points in stage number 1. Andrew Allen's paced them all so far.
He really has, and he showed us why he started the race on pole position. It was really just an outright pace, and sometimes it doesn't turn into race pace, but Andrew Allen's here to show us how it's done, and it's a good restart for him. Rayshawn Wingfield in the background, that number 35, finds their way forward on River Hayes in third place. Beckett Brown, Gavin Hinson battling for fourth and fifth in the background.
So really for the first time tonight, the outside of the front row has not kept second position. So Wingfield is able to keep that spot. Hayes back to third, Brown fourth, Gavin Hinson up in the fifth. And everyone else trying to single file out and get some green flag laps under their belt as a big wiggle from Beckett Brown off the corner.
Now look at that unsteady transition coming in through turn 1 and now into turn 3 as well. It's just so unsettling to watch the cars gyrate the way they are when they go from asphalt to concrete. How much does that affect you in the sim when you're trying to put down 250 consecutive laps? And there's a big hit to the wall from the 27. That'll be Chris Barnes in the Domino's car.
Barnes, who we saw a little bit involved in that second yellow, he's trying to not to do that again. Doesn't look like that car's damaged too much. He's going to sit in the 7th position, but that transition can definitely mess with you. Hard to do it perfectly for 250 straight laps as there's a spin, almost a crash off of turn number 4, and it was Gavin Hinson who was running in the 5th position. He somehow saved that car. We're going to stay green, but he had a huge moment at a turn number 4.
Man, a huge moment for the Rob's Custom Wraps number 39. It was looking like a showstopper at the beginning of the race. Now that thing is bouncing all over the place under the brakes, and a spin for the 88 right in front that was avoided by the cars in the field. Absolutely amazing job with that. We'll bring out the caution yet again, and that might be a saving grace for the 39, who's probably hoping to come down pit road sooner rather than later.
We might see the 39 get some tires after a slide like that. It was the 88 of Jacob Cochran who ended up spinning the lap after out of turn number 4 to bring out, I believe, our 4th caution of the night. So the VSPEED Toyota Camry, I always got to get the VSPEED logo on the broadcast somehow. I'm sure Jacob Cochran was hoping that wasn't how it was done, but it's a spin, puts us under caution, but he will stay lead lap.
Thankfully for him, like you said, he will be able to stay on the lead lap just by the brink of things. Andrew Allen still in charge of the field, but now Rayshawn Wingfield driving that Coca-Cola Zero number 35, not just the ordinary cola. That is Coke Zero. He's a new-aged man. River Hayes in 3rd, Beckett Brown in 4th, Colin Bollinger in 5th place, but Beckett Brown with 8 positions gained so far. I know we're only halfway through this first stage, but darn, that is quite impressive. Devin Curl as well, now up 12 positions.
Yeah, Devin Curl, he's looking for redemption. I led a lot of laps early at Chicagoland last week, got behind on track position, ended up getting damaged, having to exit the race probably earlier than he wanted to. He's trying to get back through the field. Did not have a good qualifying effort. Started back at 21st, like you mentioned, all the way up to 9th already, putting himself in position for potential stage points. So we'll see if he can end up getting even further up the field. Same thing goes for Beckett Brown, as it's a very drink-centric top 5. We got Colin Bollinger, Dr. Diet Dr. Pepper, that 53 car. We have the Coke Zero car in 2nd. We even have a little blend of whiskey in 3rd place of River Hayes, who's so far not the points leader, but the most successful driver arguably in the series to start this season. He's got 2 wins to his name, one at Phoenix, and last week the winner at Chicagoland, and he could be the first driver this season to go back-to-back. And the River Hayes, I haven't raced with him a lot over the seasons as we get another choose here. Drivers pick inside and outside. 53, a little indecisive there. But River Hayes, to me, from what I remember, the few times I've raced with him on the iRacing service, he's a short track guy. That's where he gets it done. So even in this next-gen car that maybe isn't a short track type of car, this type of track should be right up River Hayes' alley.
It's interesting to know that the drivers will have favorite types of tracks in oval racing, that they'll be more accustomed to some rather than others. Is it a paperclip style? Is it an oval, tri-oval? What is it that gives the track its most distinct characteristics when it comes down to ovals?
Yeah, it's stuff like that. Some tracks have a tri-oval, some tracks don't. Some tracks you always keep turning, like Chicagoland, which has that curved back straightaway. Every track has something different for the most part. There's some mile and a half that'll be different, same but different. Kansas has kind of progressive banking. Las Vegas doesn't, even though they're shaped exactly the same. Little tidbits here and there. That's what makes drivers good at individual tracks and not just good everywhere. That's why it's so difficult to be to be good at every track all over the nation that the NASCAR Cup Series in the real world goes to, let alone these guys trying to go to every track on the schedule this season. We even have a dirt track in about a month or so, but we'll get done at Martinsville before we think about Eldora in a month's time. Andrew Allen, another restart, and he's away once again with a great restart to keep the lead car in the wall immediately on the restart. That was Zachary King, the 51. He slammed the outside wall on the initial restart. He's going to lose multiple positions. There's another spin at a turn number 2 and a big crash. Brad Nelson, the 33's involved, and McCoy Benke was the other car involved, and it's another quick yellow. Jacob Cochran's in there as well.
Let's see if we can find out what happened to Brad T. Nelson here.
There's the 51 having their issue on the start. Looks like they maybe spun the tires, and then the 33 goes up the track and just loses it on exit a little bit too high. Probably not a lot of grip out there. And oh, there's where Cochran got involved. Sure, half of Andrew Allen says, I want to race a little bit. I'm sure the other half of him is like, yeah, I'll take a stage win. Yeah, why not? If he can just keep the lead on these restarts at this rate for another, once we go green, probably about 17 to 18 laps, he will be our stage 1 winner. But anything can happen on these restarts. Wingfield, Hayes, everyone behind him looks pretty fast, but they haven't had the chances to race with the 0-1 Toyota Camry yet.
Rayshon Wingfield has really been battling with River Hayes on these restarts. Unfortunately for him, he has really had to defend rather than challenge forward at Andrew Allen. What will it take for him to work a little bit with River Hayes on this restart to allow them to challenge Andrew Allen? Because we've seen him kind of run away with it when he's unchallenged, to say the least.
Well, certainly hasn't been a challenge for him quite yet. He has pretty much, if not led every single lap from pole. We have not had a necessarily long run for anyone to challenge him, as you could almost think the night's settling here. Thank goodness Martinsville has lights, but nope, that's just the shade over the racetrack, because yes, he has led every lap. He'll lead his 40th lap of the night tonight, this time by. Just trying to look over Andrew Allen in points. Not the hottest of starts for him. Really hasn't been mostly a start at all, because I don't know he's even made a start this season until today, as I believe he hasn't. So his first start of the season is looking pretty darn good right now.
Yeah, that is pretty phenomenal for the, I'm going to say, the Still and Carhartt sponsored car, the 01, and trying to prove why he's got that number attached to the side of his car. That's for sure tonight. He's out there doing his best to prove why it's there. I think he's doing a good job, barring any mistakes. He could walk away with this one, at least for the first stage, with just 19 left to go.
19 to go, we'll cross the line for that this time by. We'll restart coming to 18 to go in stage number 1, and Andrew Allen still very much in control. And even with all these yellows, I believe everyone's still in this race. Everyone on the lead lap now as well, besides Harold Tucker the third. The only driver left one lap down with a lot of damage on that 79 car, but everyone, all 28 drivers who have started this race are continuing in this race.
That's amazing to see that the attrition is still there in these drivers, that they want to be here to have the fun at the checkered flag.
Every point matters, especially if you're running full time like River Hayes is. So if he ended up getting in that mess, he'd have to point his way through it. As Andrew Allen once again brings us to another restart and a big stack up on the bottom, but Allen still has a clean getaway. But here comes River Hayes, a good roll into turn number 1. Just got to the right rear, but couldn't hold it. Andrew Allen keeps the lead, but Hayes right on the bumper. The best restart for the second lane this time. Oh, Hayes missed the corner up the racetrack. He's going to lose second. Wingfield goes on through, and now Hayes side by side with Beckett Brown for third as they cross the line.
Here's Hayes still under threat and losing positions now to Beckett Brown, and he's got to hemorrhage the wound and take whatever he can get to that bottom line before more cars overtake him. It will be the 15 of Devin Curl who's trying to challenge him next. Will it be done and dusted? I don't think so. I believe he has hemorrhaged that wound successfully. Christian Barnes up into the wall. That 27 just can't seem to avoid the concrete barriers tonight.
Certainly not, but his next-gen car is pretty strong if you don't absolutely slam it on. The suspension is a spin right in front. Bollinger goes around right in front of the rest of the field, as no caution will come out yet for the 53, and it looks like it will not be thrown for the 53. So unfortunate luck for Colin Bollinger. The admins hold the yellow and will stay green as Andrew Allen continues to lead.
Good lead up at the front, but it's a close pack battle here towards the rear end of the field. This is actually the middle. This is Jack Pfiffner and Caleb Hunt, the battle for 11th and 12th right now.
We had another spin in the back. David Moyer ended up spinning into turn number 3. We stay green once again. Moyer's been lapped by Andrew Allen as the battle for that 15th position continues on. You can see how much this field's been spread out by these single car spins. Everyone trying to avoid it. It's left this as really the closest battle on track. Cochran and Hinson for about the 14th position. Andrew Schob back there, who just got back on the lead lap.
And that number 39 is actually still on the lead lap, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they are. Gavin Hinson doing a great job of keeping that 39 in the recovery zone right now. Very impressed to see that battle come back to life from Gavin Hinson, who is running well up the field, now down 6 positions currently.
Down 6 positions, but if he can keep a clean race car, he won't worry about how many positions he's losing right now. He'll just try to finish the race. As David Moyer, who went a lap down because of that spin he just had, he lets those drivers by, let them battle for main position. Hinson keeps 14th. Andrew Schob, who's back lead lap, is trying to pass him for that. Meanwhile, up at the front, the battle for the lead, well, not much of a battle. Andrew Allen's pulled out to about an 0.8 of a second lead over Rayshawn Wingfield. Beckett Brown's gotten to 3rd. River Hayes 4th. Devin Curl, he's moved all the way up to the 5th position now. Whoa. From the 21st starting spot is way up the racetrack there. Goes Harold Tucker, who goes a 2nd lap down, which could be a killer at this point in the race.
Oh, really was a close call there. The margins were narrow and slim, but Andrew Allen, the expert masterclass driver that he is, was able to go through that unscathed, as my heart was palpitating for him in that situation.
Certainly his was, I'm sure, as well, as lap traffic will be a factor all night long for all of these drivers. Wingfield makes his way past Zachary King, who goes a lap down after restarting top 10 in the previous one. As a little side-by-side battle, that's for the 6th position. Stage points on the line. Charles Robertson and I believe Christian Barnes at Domino's Ford Mustang on the inside has seen a lot tonight, but so is the 17, who's got some front-end damage, and they're battling it out for these stage points. Side-by-side, dead heat into turn number 3.
I'm just hungry, can you tell, Connor? So I'm going to keep on watching the Domino's pizza machine, hoping it comes by my house and delivers me some pizza and gets one over on the DeWalt, because I'm more of a Milwaukee man myself. But the man in yellow in the number 17 is up 7 positions right now and trying to hold on to those 7 gained as he challenges with Charles Robertson, that number 17 number 27, Domino's pizza machine. And I don't know when they're going to stop going side by side. I feel like they've done this for at least 3 or 4 laps now.
You don't think passing's tough here? Just watch this battle on repeat. They've been side by side for at least 4 laps, as now there's only 4 laps left in this stage, so something's got to give for the 6th position. Oh, Robertson really drove it into the corner, overdrove the corner. Barnes is going to get the spot via a mistake by Robertson. Robertson, now he's got Dustin Lewis on the back of him for the 7th spot.
And he's not going defensive to cover off that inside line. He leaves the door open fair and square for the downtown number 8 machine of Dustin Lewis, who should get the position there. Yes, he does, but not without a little paint scrubbing between drivers, because why not? All's fair in love and war. And the hemorrhaging continues, though, as the 93 also comes by.
Meanwhile, Andrew Allen's checked out. This is the longest green flag run we've definitely had. He'll come to the final lap of stage number 1 to start the final lap of stage number 1. A 1-second lead over Rayshawn Wingfield. He's pulled away from Beckett Brown, but how about Devin Curl almost up into the top 3 after 60 laps? What a fast 15 Valvoline Chevy Camaro he's got. I don't think he'll be able to get Beckett Brown, but he certainly won't be able to get the 0-1. Andrew Allen, perfect through turns 3 and 4, perfect for 60 laps. He will win stage number 1. Wingfield second, Brown holds on to third over Curl, then Riverhays fifth, then Barnes, Lewis, Isaac Wilson, and then Robertson will hold on for 9th, and John Woolman will get the 10th position. Yellow flag should be coming out shortly, unless it was lap 65, and maybe I'm just not very smart. That could very well be the possibility, and I do apologize if that's the case. Either way, the top 5 has not changed as a spin out of turn number 2. Who was that? That was Isaac Brock. He's having a tough day, and I do truly apologize. I thought it was lap 60. It might be lap 65.
I was told it was lap 60 as well, so I apologize myself for feeding you poor information, Connor, but moving swiftly on from my mistakes, it will be Andrew Allen still leading the charge on lap number 63 right now, and Wingfield in second, Beckett Brown in third, Devin Curl in fourth, and River Hayes in fifth. Those top 5 kind of untouchable right now, aren't they, Connor?
They certainly are, and I did just hear on race control this time by, or the previous time by was 2 to go, so it is lap 65. I do sincerely apologize. So Devin Curl still has a chance to get third away from Beckett Brown. He is working him over, but can't quite get close enough. And Andrew Allen, big block by Beckett Brown in the background, but he keeps the 3rd spot. And Devin Curl didn't like it, but Andrew Allen getting closed in on by Wingfield a little bit, but it will not be enough. And even 5 laps late, he's still perfect. 65 of 65 laps led Andrew Allen. This time for real, he will win stage 1. The top 5 will be unchanged from what it was 5 laps ago, all the way back to River Hayes in 5th. Barnes 6th, Lewis 7th, Isaac Wilson 8th. And I believe Robertson will finish 9th, and John Ullman will still get 10th. So I do not believe the order changed. We just took a little longer. But Andrew Allen, perfect so far.
That is a pretty remarkable run to have nearly a 9/10 gap around a track that is so quick. We're talking about 18.8 second laps around Martinsville. It is quicker than a quick thing in Quicksville, to say the least. And man, oh man, am I here for it. The drivers all coming down pit road now to get their services, and we'll take a look at pit road here. And it's getting quite busy as the drivers pick their lanes.
Looks quiet, but it certainly isn't. It's just how spread out the field got on that short run that we had, although it was the longest run of the race. The field got really spread out to the point we still have drivers hitting pit lane, all the way back to Lauren Vincent in the 19th position, who was the last driver lead lap. Isaac Brock will be the lucky dog, so we'll have 20 lead lap cars.
Very, very busy pit lane right now, and that'll be a foreign fuel for the 01 to reset the balance of the car, and he'll hit the track as quickly as possible, and then that'll be Isaac Brock getting that lap back that you're talking about. And is that correct? He's promoted back up into second place, as no, he comes down pit road to just change things up on me. Thank you, Isaac.
Way the lucky dog works, when you do get the lucky dog and get that free pass to get back on the lead lap, or just get a lap back, you do have to start tail end of the longest line. So no point not to pit, get fresh tires, and start at the back, and hopefully not go a lap down. It's very easy to do at Martinsville, starting at the rear of the field.
Now, at a small track like this, at just about half a mile, a little tiny bit over it, you know, how do you really focus on avoiding collisions and avoiding cars that are maybe making mistakes in front of you? It's such a small paperclip track. It's awfully tricky to avoid these incidences, isn't it?
Always got it. Best thing you can do is run your race, and it's still really hard to avoid other drivers, as we do the choose this time by, so we'll go green next time by, not this time by. But so hard to control what you can't control. You just really can't do it. All you can do is run your race, run a clean race, make sure you're in control of your car, do the best you can, and if things happen around you, you just got to make those split-second decisions to end up avoiding the crashes. It's so much easier said than done at a track like Martinsville, but that's kind of just why this track is so tough, because there is so much at a track like Martinsville that you can't control. I mean, we talk about the super speedways, you can't control it at that track, but what you can control here is your race car and your pace a lot more than you control at Daytona, Talladega, and Atlanta. But you still have incidents here and there where if the track's blocked, what can you do but slam on the brakes and hope for the best? Still a lot here you cannot control. As we get the 1 to go, and we'll get stage number 2 started next time by.
Looking forward to this one, that's for sure. Stage 1 gone by in a blink of an eye. Stage 2 underway here in just a few moments' time.
Looking for Devin Curl, looking for a big stage. He could be the second driver to lead a lap tonight. He'll restart in the second position, beat Wingfield off a pit lane, or he chose the outside front row. Andrew Allen, great launch again, and we're green once again for stage 2.
Oh, and
someone got pooed back there.
90.
John Ullman spinning. Oh, big crash. Multiple drivers involved. Brad Nelson's in it. 45 is in it. And it's another yellow.
Let's see the replay of this one.
Saw Isaac Wilson in it. Second in points. Couldn't quite see what started it. Oh, there it was. He got the boot from someone up ahead of this to set it off. Maybe John Ullman was the culprit of that, and that was a big hit. I think that was the 45 car who maybe got the worst of it. 45 for Andrew Shobe, who's been in a few incidents already tonight. Not of his doing there.
No, really was none of his responsibility. Just an innocent bystander, unfortunately, in that wreck. And we were just talking about it. How do you avoid incidents? Sometimes you just can't. You have to rely on your instincts to be able to get out of incidents like that, or cautions that are thrown out. And now we sit behind the pace car for the 4th time tonight, if I'm not mistaken. 5th.
If it's the 4th time, it might be more than that. And we're probably, a spoiler alert, for a track like Martinsville, we certainly aren't done. And another thing about the Slim Chickens Cup Series, we do get drivers who get EOL penalties if they cause an incident. That one actually went to Beckett Brown. We didn't quite see it on the replay, but he actually was hidden behind that 34 of John Ullman, who I thought booted Isaac Wilson. Turns out he got the boot from Beckett Brown, who lost a lot of spots on pit road. Remember, he finished about 3rd in the stage. He restarted in about the 11th position, and now he will go to the rear of the field. So not a good start to stage 2 for Beckett Brown, as we'll choose, I assume, next time by as another break for all these drivers. And Lauren Vincent, we've been talking about drivers climbing through the field. Lauren Vincent's been one of them. He started 19th. He's moved his way up into the 12th position. Good start for the 07 to stage 2 to be able to get through that minimal damage on the right front fender. John Ullman, who has also got minimal damage in that, he's up 4 spots, but Andrew Allen continues the pace this field. As this time by, looks like we will choose Allen again to be inside. Devin Curl will commit to the outside of the front row, which will leave Wingfield the inside of row 2, and so on and so forth.
It isn't turning tonight, folks. It is just mostly cloudy and a balmy 66 degrees out right now. It's quite chilly out. How is that going to affect the tires tonight, Connor?
I think it's affecting these drivers to the point where there's so much grip, we're seeing so many spins. Drivers trying to send it into the corners, use the brakes as much as possible, trying to get into the corner as deep as possible, and we've seen a decent amount of drivers kind of overdrive the corner. So I think it's definitely affecting the way drivers are racing right now, that it's not really hot and slick, and it's not even really a warm racetrack. This is about as cool as a racetrack can get, and it's only going to get cooler as late in the day sim time as it is.
That's very true. Now, we have a very long race ahead of us, 250 laps on the docket for the evening, and we're only got 78 under our belt right now. So anything can and will happen in motorsports, and it typically does.
We'll see what else is in store for us today, as we are not even a third of the way through this race. 77 laps down, soon to be 78. Andrew Allen has led all of them. He leads us to get another restart and a big launch for the 0-1 again. Green flag back out. Oh, Devin Curl into the outside wall. He spun the tires in the turn number 1. He's got big right front damage.
Oh man, Devin Curl, that was a monstrous hit going into the wall, and that suspension damage is just going to carry over, and he's going to limp back around the track. But keep it green as we go 3 wide in the background. There was Devin Curl, Jack Pfiffner, and Gavin Hinson involved in that mix-up there for just a brief moment.
Whoa, Isaac Brock had a little bit of a slip. He's able to keep it straight. Devin Curl 6th in points. He was having such a good run through the field, and now he's got damage to repair, but he needs a yellow to have to repair it. But if he could stay up at the front, still have speed in that car, even with that damage, maybe he won't come down to repair it. He restarted 2nd, now he's back to the 8th position, and that gives Andrew Allen a big breather to keep the lead, because that 15 car was coming.
Yeah, that 15 definitely looked like it was coming, and it is charging a little deep into the concrete run of things, that's for sure. And Connor, correct me if I'm wrong, you know, the reason why we have the concrete here is because back in the day, I guess the old NASCAR's Holy Toledo.
Wow.
What a save from the 15 of Devin Curl to keep it on the tarmac there. Unbelievable recovery.
I think he's driving mad. I think that's one way to put it. You do not save next-gen cars like that very easily. As the cautions back out, down the back straightaway, looks like Isaac Wilson has gone for another spin, the 93 car. So Devin Curl can collect his breath after that slide. My goodness. And Isaac Wilson will have to catch the field again.
And there in the background, the driver he was battling with was Gavin Hinson, and that number 39. Gavin Hinson still down 1 from where they started the race. Devin Curl up 13, and will happily go down pit road, I'm sure, to go get some repairs taken care of at the earliest possible convenience. But Andrew Allen in the back of the field right now, and will be picked up by the pace car here.
Looks like not many drivers pitting. Here comes Curl. He does pit, like you mentioned. No surprise. He pits from 8th. They were still kind of catching the pace car, so maybe we'll have more pit stops here. Aaron Baum from 13th. He will pit. That's the series points leader, and we really haven't talked about the series points leader tonight. He has no victories, but he has top 10s in every single race, and he's just methodically been staying in the top 15, and he will pit from that top 15 spot in the 2 car.
And a couple of drivers, like you said, coming down pit road, getting those services taken care of. And here's the view of pit lane now. And it doesn't look like anybody in the field taking that beckon call just yet. Andrew Allen, Rayshawn Winkfield up 4 from the good. Christian Barnes in 3rd. River Hayes now in 4th, down a few. Charles Robertson in 5th, up 8. Dustin Lewis up 5. And Colin Bollinger in 7th. Gavin Hinson in 8th. Jack Pfiffner in 9th. And John Ullman in 10th.
Lord Vincent 07. He's climbed 8 positions. He's 11th. You got Isaac Brock in 12th. He's had a rough race to start. Jared Knopsnyder, he's got a clean car. We haven't talked about him. 13th from 27th. Brad Nelson, who was scored last time by 14th. But Caleb Hunt seems to be on pit road as well. So really 14th on back. A lot of drivers on pit road. You got Aaron Baum, who scored 15th. Devin Curl came out of pit road 16th. Looks like the 19, Caleb Hunt, will be in the 17th position. So a lot of familiar names inside the top 20 as we choose this time by. Get ready for yet another restart.
Lights are out on the safety car, and cars are already zipping around the track in front of it, trying to make sure they get to the back of the pack. But here we go. The lights are back on the safety car.
Lights are back on. We chose last time by, which means we'll do one more pace lap so the field can get called up, because we just chose and then went green, we'd have numerous drivers trying to catch up to the field in 3 and 4 to get to the green flag. So race control gives the drivers a chance to catch up, not have to rush up to the field, and we get a pretty even restart here.
It's great to have that feature part of a league race, is live race control, able to take control of things, add penalties, take them away from drivers if deemed necessary. It adds so much depth to the league. It's absolutely fantastic tool. Hats off to all the stewards and league managers out there.
Chapter race control in this series especially, I'm sure it has not been a very easy one for sure, as we still have about 41 laps to the end of stage number 2, and Andrew Allen trying to make history tonight in the Slim Chickens Cup Series. Another great launch, almost 4 or 5 car lengths clear into turn number 1.
Forces Barnes and Wingfield to go side by side, but quickly settled down as Barnes files in single file line. But it's not the same for River Hayes and Dustin Lewis lurking in the background. River Hayes and Dustin Lewis unsettling themselves, and there is Gavin Hinson, I think, involved in an incident.
Hit the outside wall maybe out of turn number 4. A lot of right front damage on that 39. Now in a 3 wide position for about the 10th position. They stayed 3 wide into the corner. Hinson gives way. Jack Fiffner, Jacob Cochran both back into the top 10, or at least around the top 10, past that 39 car back to back.
Oh my goodness, yes, Gavin Hinson unfortunately into the wall. And who is that? Is that the number 39? No, the 07. No, the 48, excuse me, with tons of front end damage. Which driver is that? That'll be Beckett Brown that we saw in the incident earlier on, not taking their full repairs just yet.
Rebecca Brown calls that incident, went to the rear of the field with an EOL penalty, and it's clearly cost him, because when he caused that incident, he did not get that much right up front damage. From what I saw, is there's a crash in the back. Reggie Kimes gone around in the 9 car, and Jared Knopsnyder has gone around at a turn number 4. There's no caution quite yet. Now it's out. Yet another caution, yet another reset. The Yellowwood lettering on the inside of the corners here, proving to be quite fitting, as it's like the 82 just missed the corner and kind of got collected as collateral. So we work our, I believe, somewhere around maybe our 8th yellow possibly. I believe if 8's the correct number, it would be about 7 for cause. And Andrew Allen putting on a clinic. Even when we do get the green flag running, he has not been touched. No one has quite been close to his level, even on track tonight. Rayshawn Wingfield, Devin Curl have really been the 2 closest to him, and they haven't really been close once we get our green flag running. I mean, this 0-1 has been so fast on the short runs.
It really has. I mean, those short runs have been phenomenal for Andrew Allen. We haven't seen him go for a long stint yet, so I'm curious to see what he's able to do when he is when he's a little bit more challenged than he has been in the past a couple of stages. Just really interesting to see that Rayshawn Wingfield has been challenged by River Hayes, but now that they're separated by a car, maybe Wingfield can surprise me and throw his elbows out into the mix.
We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, we'll see if Andrew Allen can maintain this track position through their next bit of pit stops. Remember, 50% fuel tanks. These drivers can't go forever in this race. They'll certainly be pitting at the end of stage 2 in about 30 laps or so. You would think they'd have to pit at least one more time after that. I do not believe they can go 120 laps on a half a tank of fuel. As we get our first look at the eye on the drivers. First one I believe we've really seen tonight. Haven't really had a chance, as we've got, I believe, Zachary King, one of our driver cams, if not our only driver cam. Not the best of races for Zachary King so far, but he is on the lead lap.
And he's coming down pit road now. Zachary King having a bit of an interesting driving position. That hunched forward, chin on the wheel is a bit more laid back than I would typically run, to say the least. How about yourself, Connor?
Reminds me of Ryan Newman. I'm way further away from my monitor and my wheel. I'm way further away from my monitor than I am my wheel. Like my monitor is pretty far back. So yeah, definitely an interesting one. That's the beauty of iRacing, beauty of sim racing. I mean, you do not need a set rig. You don't need $1,000 rig to compete. You just need a wheel. You need pedals, and you probably need at least maybe a desk to clamp it on. And then really, that's about it. But the amount of different setups, you can make your own setup if you can. If you use wood pretty well.
Wood,
tools pretty well.
PVC. I've seen sheet metal used before, or extruded aluminum from shipping yards. Yeah, I mean,
car seat.
Hey, I have a used car seat for my sim rig. What are you talking about?
I think it's a good idea. I wish I had a comfortable seat for my sim rig. Mine's not as comfortable, and neither are these drivers. A lot of yellow, still wait for a green flag run. 31 laps left before the end of stage 2. Andrew Allen has dominated tonight. Wingfield trying to get the second position. Christian Barnes moved up to second via the choose, but he will not keep it. 35 to second, right on the bumper of the 0-1. Here comes River Hayes for third.
River Hayes down to the inside line, a little kiss to the apron there, but it doesn't scathe him any. In that number 81, looking pretty sharp out there, but in front of my man who's keeping me hungry, Christian Barnes in the number 27, who keeps on having small collisions with the wall. In the background, Jack Fiffner and Charles Robertson going toe-to-toe, and Colin Bollinger in the background wanting to get involved in the mix as well, because 3 wide sounds pretty good at this point in stage.
Well, if you're not at least scraping the wall at every corner, you're not really pushing your boundaries enough. Maybe that's what Christian Barnes is going for, because it's worked for him. We're in the top 5 a lot of this race, and our real first battle for the lead. Here comes the 35, Rayshawn Wingfield. Big run out of turn number 4. He got to the inside of Andrew Allen. Contact for the race lead, as Wingfield wants to be the second driver to lead this race, and he clears Andrew Allen. Here comes the crossover. Allen dives it to the inside. He wants to lead every lap. He's trying desperately to get the lead back. It will not work, at least at the start-finish line. Rayshawn Wingfield will lead his first lap of the race. Finally, it took 103 laps, but the 0-1 has got some competition, but it's not over yet. They stay side by side, and Andrew Allen gets the advantage back.
Great call there, Connor. Great eyes on the track as battles were brewing left, right, and center. The leaders, and a little bit of a wiggle for River Hayes in the background there as he tries to chase down the number 35, who's also having a wiggle on entry as we hit the concrete.
It's official. Andrew Allen will not lead every lap tonight, but he got it just as soon as he lost it. A big charge, great crossover there to get back to the inside of Wingfield and get the lead back. So that Toyota Camry continues to lead. Not as comfortable as it was earlier, as another caution is out. It's turn number 3 and 4, and looks like John Woolman, the 34. The Slim Chicken Chevy Camaro is spun, and Jared Knopsnyder in this one as well.
Yeah, I think Jared Knopsnyder again, involved in this accident. Let's get a quick replay and see what happened to Knopsnyder.
As the most frantic race for the lead we've had for sure, as that was a pretty intense moment. As well, it happened ahead of him. It was the 34 that spun, and it ended up collecting 2 others, including Knopsnyder. I'm trying to see who that blue car was. Might have been Zachary King. Actually, no, I think it was Isaac Wilson again. So, second in the points, not having a great day. That's at least the 3rd or 4th he's been involved in, but we'll see what happened to John Woolman right here. Same thing as earlier that we've seen. Oh, and he pounded the outside wall with an overcorrect.
Ooh, man, that has got to be painful on the wrist, to say the least.
I hope he does not have direct drive. I don't have direct drive myself, but it's definitely the worst wheel you can have for an overcorrect hard wall hit like that. But you work yet another caution. Getting close to double digits. Andrew Shobe, the 45, looks to be the free pass, the lucky dog. There's a number of drivers a lap down from when we had our longest run of the race to end stage 1. So we should put 19 drivers lead lap. Devin Curl, Zachary King, Reggie Kime, Jared Knopsnyder, multiple other drivers at least 1 lap down. Knopsnyder is actually 2 laps down now. What a frantic battle for the lead that was, though, for a moment. I thought for a moment maybe at 35 would be the next driver to pull away, but as soon as he got the lead, Andrew Allen crossed him over, got a little physical just as the 35 got physical with him and got the lead right back.
I think that was the thing. I think Andrew Allen realized that he needed to drive as he was being driven against, and Rayshon Wingfield made a little bump and run there, a little side-by-side contact for the lead of the race, and I think Andrew Allen was willing to make the same amount of risk going into the following corner, and he absolutely licked the stamp and sent it on Rayshon Wingfield, and then the battle ensued from there on out, and the rest was history. Andrew Allen losing that lap once, but not again. No one steals Andrew Allen's lead lap 2 times in a row, let's put it that way.
I'm sure Andrew Allen might be partially hoping that he does not lead at least a few other laps, because if he misses out on leading every lap by 1, I'm sure he'll be quite ticked with the 35, especially if he ends up dominating the rest of this race. But
it's a good
clearly
point.
From what we just saw, that's yet to be determined, as Andrew Allen still in the race lead. He still dominated this race. The 35 definitely showed us something that he could compete on the short run. Even River Hayes wasn't too far behind him in case it really got too physical. But I think we got a preview of what we could see at the end of this race. We saw the 35 drive into turn 1 deep, kind of hip check the 0-1 up the racetrack to get that lead, but then we saw Allen return the favor, put the bumper to him at a 2, crossed him over, got it right back. So we could see some outstanding action if we get the green flag laps to get to it. It could be intense as yet another restart. This time by, I believe, 19 laps to go into stage 2. And then we'll get to stage 3. And Andrew Allen, he's led at every single restart, including this one. Another great jump, and a great jump of a 35 as well. Dead even into turn number 1 for second position, and Wingfield's got it.
Wingfield's got it. Dustin Lewis leapfrogs their way up into P4. Will they be able to hold on to it? Because there is Christian Barnes, the number 27. We keep on talking about him because he keeps on gaining and losing positions. He is just a magnet, attracting other next-gen cars to his Domino's mobile. I think everybody else on the track is just as hungry as I am, Connor.
And I'm not sure if you can get Diet Dr. Pepper at Domino's, but I'm sure him and Bollinger can reach an agreement. They're close together. Bollinger right behind this battle. Dustin Lewis is the driver on the outside. That's for the 4th position. So tough to make that pass around the outside, especially when getting driven up the track. Like the 27 kind of drove him up the track there, but it can't be done. It just takes a long amount of laps as they're going to stay side by side.
The continued side-by-side battle will bring the Dr. Pepper of Colin Bollinger a lot closer, but they're going to be a lot further than River Hayes up ahead. The gap keeps on growing. It's 1.2 seconds now to the gap in front. I think they finally settled down and realize that they can squabble over 3rd when they get there.
And this is one of those tracks, kind of like Darlington, not as bad as Darlington, but it's one of those tracks where you cannot run side by side and make time. You could do that at 1.5 miles where you have a bunch of room inside and outside to kind of run your own races, but it's a track you obviously cannot do it. They lost so much time. Those top 3 are gone, and those top 3 have been the class of the field all night long. Allen, Wingfield, River Hayes, they've really been the top 3 on every single restart, and they're showing why right now.
Time and time again, they have put the laps down, pedal to the metal to prove to us why they're running in the top 3. This top 5 was all glued to each other at the first stage, but now coming almost to the close of the second stage in just a few handful of laps. We'll have to see if the drivers can settle down and shake things up.
See if lap traffic shakes things up by the end of this stage. I don't think they'll catch enough for it to be a huge factor as John Newman gets out of the way for the leaders. A lot of damage on that 34, obviously, as next time by they'll come to 11 laps to go in the stage, or at least I hope it is. Could be wrong again. We'll have to wait and see, but I do believe it's lap number 130 as almost a move for second. River Hayes took a peek, showed the nose to the inside of Rayshon Wingfield, but didn't quite make the move as Christian Barnes had a little bit of trouble getting by Ullman in the lap traffic, but he keeps that spot. As side-by-side further deep in the field, there's racing ever around this racetrack, but these top 3 are setting such a blistering pace.
That is the number 39 of Gavin Hinson battling out with Lauren Vincent. The battle for 14th and 15th still undecided. The 07 and that 39 going side by side, but the 07 goes a little deep there. Allows the 39 with that front nose damage to go on through. The Sword Dog, number 93 of Isaac Wilson, will snake on by as well.
Wilson, second in points, had a tough day, but trying to climb back through the field. And even with how poor that car looks, as a 07 had a little bit of a moment out of turn number 4, kept it straight. Even with how damaged that 93 looks, it could be one of the best looking cars by the end of this race. We'll just have to wait and see how everything sorts out as a battle, not quite a battle, that's Ullman giving way to even more lead lap cars, really struggling with that vehicle right now. This is the battle for about the 14th position, actually 13th position. Caleb Hunt has it. 39 wants it. 93 almost looked 3 wide there. Caleb Hunt locked it up. Very easy to do in these cars. He moves up the track. Here comes Gavin Hinson.
Hinson with a good run, but might go in too deep, just like some 41. The 19 follows through. Will it be good for the 93 as well? I think it might. I think it can. I think he can. The Soar Dog is nice and through.
Scoring right now, no doubt, trying to get back through the field. Maybe try to steal some stage points, but pretty far up the road is 10th place Beckett Brown. Even with that damage, Beckett Brown has been able to climb back into that top 10 position. At the front, they cross the line next time by to get 5 laps to go on this stage. Andrew Allen has continued to lead, but it has not been comfortable. Rayshon Wingfield right on the bumper, as is River Hayes, and they are approaching some lap traffic. David Moyer, Zachary King. Zachary King, tail end of the lead lap. You do not want to go a lap down. He's actually about to go 2 laps down. You go 2 laps down, it could kill your race. He's going to fight hard if they get to him.
And we all know the coveted saying, lap traffic giveth and lap traffic taketh away. And we've got a gaggle of cars out in front. Who's going to give breath here to the 01? Nobody is going to give way. The 35 closes down the gap like a monster in the Serengeti right now, closing down through the weeds, and he is doing a good job trying to find the gap, but now he's got his own issue to deal with. Further back, that's Rayshon Wingfield trying to find a way past the 51, but now traffic taketh away from Wingfield.
Very methodical through lap traffic there for Andrew Allen. Did not push it, did not rush it, got through him, and he should have enough of a gap to keep Wingfield behind him. 2 to go was last time by. They'll take the white flag for stage number 2 this time by, as once again, like the end of stage 1, we get a pretty decent run to get to the end of the stage. So 1 more to go. If Wingfield has anything to try to rip this stage away, he's got to show it at a 2 and then use it all into 3. Tries diving deep into turn number 3, not quite able to do it. He gets the bumper close, but not quite close enough. Andrew Allen continues to dominate. He sweeps the stages of the Sheets 250. Allen, Wingfield, Hayes, the top 3, and then Barnes, Lewis, the top 5. Bollinger, Robertson, Cochran, Beckett, Brown gets to 9th, and Jack Fiffner, who spun way earlier, ends up getting a stage point out of the race. So sorry to cut you off, but a pretty frantic stage once again, as we just cross halfway, and maybe for the first time this season, first time compared to what I've been watching, Andrew Allen sweeps the stages at Martinsville.
He sure has. So far, it's looked really good for him. I mean, we're 11 cautions into this, and he has won the second stage again. Led us for 130 laps officially. He started first, and he's got the 01 plastered on his door already.
Importantly for Andrew Allen, the guy who looked the fastest earlier in the race, Devin Curl, he got damaged. He went a lap down, partially trying to repair it. He will end up getting the lucky dog. So 15 back on the lead lap as Andrew Allen hits for the second time today, maybe the last time. We don't think they can make it to the end from here, but with how many cautions we're getting, I will never say never.
That is very true. We've had cautions and cautions breeding cautions time and time again, but it's looked pretty good for the 01 out in the front of the field. And now we're getting settled in again for the final run to the end. Now this one's going to be interesting. We don't have any more stage breaks available for the drivers, so they're not competing for points until we get to lap 250 of this event. Is that correct?
Do not know for sure. We'll just have to wait and see. Not fully sure on that one. Do know that we'll probably choose next time by. Zachary King, Reggie Kime, Alan Zukov will be taking the wave round.
And that is a lovely, lovely race control car there in the background that has been sitting in pit lane. The 999, rocking that pink livery, very vibrant as ever, visible from space, just in case.
And I don't, if only it was the right template. It almost looks like it's a Gen 6 template on a next gen. But there's a Pringles logo on there at least, in case you want to get your Pringles from Dollar General. I believe that's what happens when race control accidentally joins as a driver instead of a spectator, is we'll choose next time by, I would assume. I did hear the admin team say that they were going to look at something, which is probably the reason for the holdup on choosing to see who starts where. Soon enough, we'll get another restart, and just maybe we'll get some green flag running. Our most green flag running so far today, a Sagar, has been at the end of the stages, where we get about 10 to 20 laps and everyone seems to figure it out, and then the yellow falls for the stage. It seems like that's been our sweet spot, but starting these stages has been the tough part.
Yes, when the field has been all bunched up and we've had a 9-car train, the drivers have all been trying to jockey for position and using that drafting ability to get ahead of each other. Now, something I know about these next-gen cars is that the slipstream or the side drafting is not as effective as it once was. So once they get alongside each other, we're going to see those extended battles last a little bit longer than we would typically see. And now we're getting ready for the race start. So it's been interesting to see how these battles have been unfolding.
We will not go green. I believe they just weren't able to extend the yellow before the pace car pulled off, so almost panic set in for, I'm sure, every driver. Pace car is actually going to race them into turn number 1 and 2 on pit road, and soon enough you'll pop out to stay in front of them for another, 500 feet, and then go right back where it came from. The iRacing pace car, always timeless, always glitchy, but always fun. I can think of countless times it's driven through me trying to get to the front of the field in official racing. It is scary. It's been scary for Andrew Allen, at least for the rest of the field it has been. He has been dominant. He's led all but 1 lap, and he'll try to lead them all up till lap 250. Green flag back out. Another good restart.
Good restart for Allen, but good one for Winkfield as well. Gets one done on River Hayes, but the doors open ajar, and it looks like River Hayes was trying to find the daylight on that one, but he won't be able to do so on this occasion.
River Hayes, he looked to the inside, a little bit of a block from Winkfield, but Hayes has a great run out of turn number 2. He's got to the inside, can't block that one. Side by side for second. Andrew Allen will pull away from that battle as the 81 sort of does a wheel hop into turn number 3. You can see that car kind of hopping up and down, maybe because of the setup, but it gripped up real nice through 3 and 4. Is this the best River Hayes has looked after a restart? He's up to second.
Really good run for Hayes, back up to where he started this race, back into P2, fortunately enough for him, but it's been a hard-fought battle for River Hayes. Has to climb back through the grid one more time to get there, and hopefully this time he'll solidify his stance.
It's kind of what we saw from River Hayes last week. He did not win either stage, but in the final stage, he kind of was just best. He kind of just survived and was able to get the lead when it mattered the most, and he pulled away from the rest of the field. The gap margin of victory was 4 seconds over Charles Robertson, who ended up runner-up as he got a spin turn 4, car on the apron of the racetrack, and that was Gavin Hinson, and the yellow does finally fall. They held off on it, but it is finally called. It looks like he's stuck on the curb.
And that's my man, Gavin Hinson, that I keep on cheering for in the number 39, unfortunately. Let's see what happened to the Rob's Custom Wraps car. Ooh, and he just touches and gets on the brakes too hard into the car in front, and that'll park him there on that curbing, and I don't think he'll be able to get going again.
No, he was not. He had to reset. But that's kind of just how the next-gen car is, with the way the diffuser is, the under parts of the car. For some reason, that can happen very easily, where we've seen drivers get stuck in grass in the real world. You can definitely get stuck on the curbs here and get high center, and that's what happened to Hinson, which is a killer for him. He's going to end up going multiple laps down after being in the top 15 for the vast majority of this race. Excuse me. Zachary King, our driver on board cam guy, he's got the free pass, so he will be the 20th driver on the lead lap after Hinson drops a few laps down. sure the 51 will take that.
And here is Zachary King in that comfortable driving position that we talked about earlier. And like you said, there's a myriad of ways that you can set up your sim rig, whether you just have a desk and a wheel and an office chair to having a full-blown 80/20 rig or a custom setup of your own. It is quite amazing the entry-level margins that have come out of sim racing over the past 6 years or so.
Certainly the advancements in sim racing, so many different options. It's pretty incredible how many different combinations you can go with. I've even seen drivers who race on a TV that's probably 20 feet from them. And those are some drivers who are pros in certain iRacing series that can race on rigs like that. It just proves if you're the best of the best, you have skill. And when it comes to iRacing and any race simulator, you do not need a fancy rig like we were talking about earlier. You can just run at the front no matter what. And certainly a number of drivers showing that tonight. Zachary King, he really hasn't had the luck that he needs in this race. He's gotten involved in a lot of incidents not of his doing, but still trying to fight back through it as we get to choose. Once again, Andrew Allen will not budge from that inside unless he loses the lead. And Rayshawn Wingfield, he's kind of been going back and forth outside front row, inside row 2. This time he chooses the front row. And River Hayes goes inside of row 2. That'll put, once again, Christian Barnes positioned in 4th for this restart as we get the one to go next time by.
You know, I'm actually only 2 seconds off of the pace because I don't have a motion rig, Connor Horn. So I take a little bit of offense to your statements that, you know, the best don't have the best equipment. You know, I know Daniel Morad has a full-on motion rig, and that's why I'm not as fast as him, to be honest. Otherwise, I would be driving for Windward Racing as well in my free time.
If I had a motion rig, I'd need to get tested for concussions every time I wreck. I've seen clips of those motion rigs falling over. I do not want to risk that happening to me, so I'm good without the motion rig.
Yeah, I'd probably
Even
need
VR,
back surgery myself if I were to get a motion rig.
I don't even like VR. I've tried that once and I nearly threw up, but VR is still very fun, just hard to do for long periods of time. As Andrew Allen once again leads us to another restart, and not the best of restarts. Great restart for Wingfield. He's going to be able to get right in behind his 0-1, stay into 2nd position. Great run around the outside for Christian Barnes, but he couldn't hold it.
Christian Barks falling behind River Hayes, but will he also lose one to the 53 of Colin Bollinger, who's there in the mix as well? Yes, he will, as he blinks in and out of existence. Hopefully the other cars around him know where he is. Like, the last thing I want to see is him coming back into thin air, but hopefully he is. And we're looking good here on the racetrack, and it will be Colin Bollinger getting that position. The 17 of Charles Robertson.
The leader just spun out of turn number 4. He ends up saving it, but the guy who's dominated all race just spun all on his own out of turn number 4. And he's going to drop way down the order.
He's still parked there, falls back into 15th position. The caution will not come out for Andrew Allen. And that was a great call and catch by Connor Horn.
Oh my goodness, leading the race. He really had no pressure, just got a little too antsy on the throttle, looped it all on his own, and now all of a sudden we have a new race leader for good for the time being. Rayshawn Wingfield for the first time in full control of this race. And now the driver who's already locked up most laps led, dominated this race, gonna have to come from 15th. Another spin on the front straightaway. That's the 33 of Brad Nelson. Single car spin. Will the yellow fly for this? He'll try to get it back going before the leaders come around. Looks to me will stay green as Wingfield continues to lead him out of turn 4.
And there are the leaders right behind that spin. So fortunately able to stay on the lead lap for now. But Rayshawn Wingfield being threatened by River Hayes and Colin Bollinger behind, also in tow.
Bollinger all of a sudden showing a lot of pace. He's joined these front 2 who have really been just in the 01's shadow all race. Now they're the ones kind of in the battle for this victory, and the 53s ended up joining the fight as he almost hit the outside wall pretty hard there, as these 3 have pulled away from Charles Robertson, who runs in the 4th position.
And I'm sure they're very happy to run away from Andrew Allen now that he is no longer in the mix for the lead of this race right now. It's a please to them, but I'm sure it's not a please to the 45 who's losing a position now to Andrew Allen. That will be Andrew Schob in that 45 machine.
You can tell 01's driving angry, or he's at least driving poised. He's trying to get back through the field as quickly as possible. He fell back to 15th. He's up to 11th, and he's going to try to follow Devin Curl through, who almost hit the curb and got into Isaac Brock. That's the battle for 9th, as 01's trying to get into that battle right now.
Oh my goodness, what a look from Devin Curl onto the inside line. Absolute send on Isaac Brock, and they touch.
Oh man, I don't think 01's driving angry. He just locked it up. 45 if Andrew Schob is going to try to pass him. I think Devin Curl is driving angry. He's at 2 weeks in a row. Things have not gone his way. He's just trying to get a finish out of the darn thing.
Yeah, man, Devin Curl has had a roller coaster of a run tonight, but he is still up 12 positions on the good for the evening and trying to get back to where he thinks he belongs, up into that top 10 a little bit more healthily than where he sits right now.
Curl going to battle. I believe that's Beckett Brown that's right in front of him for that position. He's trying to go the long way around, try to get the right rear, get around the outside. So hard to do and not able to do it. It's a slide. Isaac Brock slid out of turn number 2, and it's going to be a crash down the back straightaway. Isaac Brock, the 21 car, has crashed, and it looks like some other driver got damaged, but still no yellow.
Brock able to get it turned around and in the right direction. Just avoids pit lane though, so we are going to stay green flag running. Here are the leaders coming through right now, but they have the Caswell machine out in front, and that's going to put a big block on Rayshawn Winkfield right now, who's going to be boxed in, has nowhere to go, and that's going to force a big accordion from the cars behind.
That's actually almost worked out perfect for Bollinger. It almost got him to second, put him right on the rear bumper of River Hayes, but just couldn't quite make a move, as they'll have plenty more lap traffic to deal with, as Brad Nelson almost spun trying to get out of the leader's way.
Good battles up, down the field. Can't really pick one to settle on. Let's take a look at Caleb Hunt's battle between himself and Isaac Wilson for just a moment, as that changes up for position, and there is a spin, I believe, be Beckett Brown, if I'm not mistaken.
Devin Curl, 15 car, spun around. They were trying to get around lap traffic out of turn 4, and Devin Curl couldn't quite avoid, and all that progress has been wiped down almost to about 0.
Oh man, Devin Curl just cannot catch a break tonight, can he, Connor?
Certainly can't.
Oh, poor guy. Running in the number 15, down in 17th position now, has a marginal 1.6 second gap to the car in front, and he's going to need to get the gap closed down to get that slipstream partner back in tow.
And he's got to make sure to stay lead lap. He's not tailing the lead lap, but he's darn close. He's pretty much lost a full lap to Winkfield, who continues to lead. River Hayes up to second. He continues in second, and third place has changed hands. You know, a few laps ago, you know, it was not the 17 of Charles Robertson who now has that position. It was Colin Bollinger, who must have had a crash that we did not see. He's fallen back to the 8th position. He's ended up crashing out of turn number 4 multiple laps ago. Now he's back to the 8th position. He's right on the bumper of Beckett Brown, trying to get 7th position back.
And Bollinger, who is pairing so well with that 27, now no longer paired up with his teammate, but the 01 is there looking for a battle as well. Finding alternate lines as we hit the concrete patch, running around the banking around 12 degrees here at Martinsville. And there is a big move and a send from the 48 out in front. That's Beckett Brown getting around traffic.
Getting around slower traffic, it's Alan Zukov, who's been damaged really since the start. Just trying to get out of the way. Is a little contact there with Andrew Allen. Allen trying to frantically get back through the field, but since he's gotten up behind Bollinger and Beckett Brown, he really hasn't been able to move up, besides other drivers making mistakes. So maybe that slide kind of got the good out of the tires. Now the 01 maybe needs a yellow to catch up. We'll have to wait and see.
While that was happening, the 27 Christian Barnes able to get by Lauren Vincent there in the driver behind, and that'll be a little bit of a shakeup here for P3 and P4 as Charles Robertson loses out to Dustin Lewis, who's on the outside line in the number 17, and Lewis has got to make this one stick the long way around the outside if he wants to make it work on the 8 of Lewis here.
Here comes Jack Fiffner. He's going to join this fight for the 4th position. It's almost a 4-car battle. Throw Jacob Cochran into the mix in the 88 car. As Charles Robertson's been one of those drivers who's been side by side almost all night with someone, whether it's the 8, whether it's the 53. He's been on the outside of someone all night long. This is happening about 5 seconds behind race leader Winkfield, who continues to lead this race. And neither driver, the 8 or 17, will budge.
Great attrition here of these drivers. They keep on battling, they keep on fighting for these points. They know we have a long way to go, so anything can and will happen. We haven't seen our next caution come out yet, and there goes Dustin Lewis trying to make this one stick. Really getting squirrely now.
Getting impatient, try to drive it in, kind of force the 17 out of room, but what it ended up doing is giving Robertson the spot, but Robertson missed the entry to turn number 1. They're going to stay side by side, and look at the mess it's causing behind. He got about a stack up of about 5 other lead lap cars all the way back there, Andrew Allen, who's running in that 9th spot. Oh, had a spin. That was River Hayes, excuse me. That was River Hayes, who just dropped all the way back to that pack we were just watching. He had to slide out of turn 4, much like Andrew Allen did. Now he's crash turn number 2. And there goes a few cars. That's Fiffner and Cochran, and that will bring out the caution.
Man, oh man, River Hayes. I think he touched with Rayshawn Winkfield. Let's see if we can get a replay of what happened here. So River Hayes right here, and he's already going slow. Let's see if we can go a little bit further back now and see what happened. A glimpse of the 435 out in front.
Gets close to the bumper right here. Looks like he actually goes for the move, makes it work. Might have been a touch there, and it almost looks like when he got the right rear on the asphalt instead of the concrete, the car just completely slid out from under him.
Yeah, really tricky for River Hayes under that traction zone coming up onto the concrete. Like we talked about, the undulation being there as the transition from the asphalt to concrete. And then you obviously have the transition in the way the tires are reacting to the compound beneath them, affecting the way the cars have been hopping through the corners.
And we've seen a lot of drivers kind of hopping into the middle of the corner. Really haven't seen it on corner exit that much, but it just seemed like a case where the 81 maybe got a slight tap from the 35, and it just put him out of the groove just enough to where he ended up really sliding out of control. So it's really all fallen in the favor of the 35 of Rayshawn Winkfield as of late. He's had his 2 closest competitors kind of slide out of competition, slide down the order. Hayes will still restart within the top 5. The 0-1 will be near the top of the leaderboard as well after a good pit stop. So they'll be back there, but they're going to have to make the pass, which is proven tough to do, as Andrew Allen's now got damage on that left front fender as we saw him going by. So he'll have to deal with that as well.
Yeah, and it's one of those double-edged swords. Do you repair the damage? Can you live with it and hinder your lap times? Is it worth it at the end of the day? The math you have to do trying to go 180, 190 miles an hour is absolutely grueling for the drivers, but they're going to make those decisions quick fire and soon, as we're getting ready for the choose, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe we chose this past lap, or at least it looks that way, with Rayshawn Winkfield. Coke Zero Camry will start on the inside. Hayes picked the outside. Andrew Allen will be 3rd with that damage. But the top 3 that we witnessed be in the top 3 all the first 2 stages are back in the top 3, but in a completely different order, almost completely flipped around. And a lot of drivers with damage. We talk about the attrition rate. We do still have a lot of drivers running. McCoy Benke, Harold Tucker, David Moyer, and Jared Knopsnyder the only 4 drivers out of this race. Alan Zukov's running 23 laps down, but not a lot of drivers out of the race, but a lot of drivers with damage.
And we're absolutely here for the racing action. Rayshawn Wingfield and River Hayes are going to lead us on that front row when we go green flag running here again.
It's Rayshawn Wingfield for the first time all night. He's in control of the restart zone. He gets a good jump. Oh, River Hayes into the outside wall. He spun the tires. We've seen it time and time again with drivers on the outside lane spinning the tires. And it's River Hayes this time who's spinning out of turn number 2. He collected Zachary King. And the caution not out. Reggie Kimes involved as well. And the caution's out.
And let's see a replay of what happened here.
And Hayes immediately brings it to pit lane. Could be done for the day. Exactly what we saw earlier with the driver. They get through another gear and they just spin.
And that wasn't it for Hayes, unfortunately. It gets worse. Ooh.
Collected King right there. I believe Zachary King was the other driver to do that on a restart, and Reggie Kyan just had nowhere to go. But a lot of damage to the 81. He ran top 3 all race. He got great stage points, but that could be the end of the night for him as he'll go a lap down.
Importantly enough for Andrew Allen, this brings him back up into the mix, but he is going to be on a different strategy than the rest of the field. So this will be interesting that he uses the track position in his favor now, rather than taking the pit stop and repairing that damage. He believes he still has it in him to battle with the 35 of Rayshawn Wingfield.
And you very well could. We'll just have to wait and see. That pass is really hard to make. He really hasn't been challenged besides the one time Wingfield got by him. He immediately roughed him up to get him back. But we really haven't seen them battle since then. So it's going to have to take maybe something physical to get that 35 out of the way for the lead. And we're going to have new players at the front like Bollinger, Beckett Brown into the top 5, 17's up there as well. This could be a very interesting run to the finish, as we're going to end up going green with just under 65 laps to go in this race. It's been a crazy one for sure. This is race 8 of the Slim Chickens NASCAR Cup Series, powered by Tier1SetupShop.com. And it's really been, until about lap 150, it was all Andrew Allen. And since then, it's been Rayshawn Wingfield. Really only 2 leaders tonight. And they're starting not on the front row together. They'll start leading the inside line together.
Drivers all picking their lines now as we get ready to go green in just a few laps time, and we do have the drivers getting settled in, coming out of pit lane and catching up to the back of the pack. So like Connor has informed me before, the safety car lights will come back on and catch up the field one more time before we go green.
Exactly what we'll do is trying to see if River Hayes got back on track. He is not. He is out of the car, likely done for the night. Zachary King's on pit road repairing damage. Isaac Wilson is also rolling around pit road, but we'll get the true one to go this time by. And for the really, I believe, maybe for the first time tonight, it'll be Colin Bollinger on the front row. So Coke Zero versus Diet Dr. Pepper. I don't know which one will prevail, but I'll take both. I will not complain.
I'll take neither, thank you. I'll go with old-fashioned Coca-Cola, thank you very much. I'm a tried and true boomer, if you will.
Nothing wrong with that. I prefer the originals as well. Not a diet person, but we'll see who can win this race. It's going to come down to the very end. Just about 64 laps to go. Wingfield leads us to the restart zone. We're back green again at the paperclip.
What a great start from Wingfield. Checked up the 01 and then just launched it out of the gate there. Andrew Allen now forced to contend with the 53 of Colin Bollinger going around the outside line. And we're going to go 2 by 2 right here, right now.
And a great run out of 4 for Andrew Allen. He gets that second spot away. Now he's got to try to chase down that 35. You let him get too far out, it could be over before you know it. As spin out of turn number 2, way in the back, it's Andrew Schob with the 45. Single car, maybe no yellow, as the field will come out of 4 cleanly. Not quite. Beckett Brown hit the wall, but he's kept it straight. And we will still stay green for the time being.
Position battle here between Caleb Hunt and Devin Curl driving that number 15. Ebb and flow for Curl as he hits the curb, and that's going to send him around. And that's not going to be great for his run of things tonight, and that might bring out the caution.
The single car looks like will stay green. Cannot believe everyone got through it, but I don't even know if he hit the curb. The car just started hopping, and he just ended up spinning. Somehow they've gotten away with no yellow there, but that's really separated the top 5 from the rest of the field. But the battle's still going on at the back. Christian Barnes had an internet issue at the last restart that sent him down the order. He's still trying to recover, and he's still in the 15th position.
Love to see the drivers get kicked out or have a technical difficulty or mechanical failure and then still be able to come back and try to challenge for positions. And there was a huge crash at turn 4. That's Brad T. Nelson caught up in the mix for the number 33 car, and the caution will be brought out immediately here.
The yellow count is piling up. That is the Caswell Glass Company Toyota Camry of Brad Nelson. He's had his fair share of incidents. He's looked to the inside of the 39 as, there we go, once again, it's that left front just starts hopping, and eventually that thing is going to go around. Same thing we saw with Devin Curl, and the 55 unfortunately just had nowhere to go. That was Jack Pfiffner, who ran top 10 just a little while ago, involved in that.
Another race restart, I should say, for Rayshon Wingfield behind the pace car now. And Andrew Allen is no slouch at the short run, so we know it's going to be a mad dash when the restart takes place.
Got a shout out to Zach White. He went multiple laps down very early in this race. I believe he was in the second caution of the race. He ends up getting a lucky dog out of that because Pfiffner, I believe, was 1 lap down, but he got involved in the crash. Therefore, Zach White got the lucky dog out of that. He's back 2 laps down, so he needs 2 more to get back lead lap. So we're not many other drivers running laps down at this point. Pfiffner's 1 down, Zach White's 2 down, Hinson is now 5 down, and John Woolman, the Slim Chickens Camaro, 13 laps down, and Alan Zukov, 23 laps down.
This man right here, Devin Curl, gotta be my vote for driver of the day at this point. It is just, like you said, unfortunate incidents took him out, and the results did not go his way last week running. This week, it's not going his way either. He's been up into the top 5. He's been down into the bottom 5, and now he finds himself in the mid-pack in P10.
Who's this time? Wingfield, Allen to the inside. Now Charles Robertson will go to the front row, pick to the outside. But it has been it hasn't just been an up and down day for Devin Curl. It's been up, down, then all the way up, then way back to the bottom, way back down, sort of back to the middle, then back down, and now he's back to the sort of to the top, kind of middle top, I would say. He's going to restart in the 8th position as they do extend the yellow. So once again, the pace car peeled off a little early. Our pace car driver apparently not fully trained to stay on the racetrack, but they do their best. Shout out to the iRacing pace car driver. We will go green next time by.
Well, I just found out that Barney has a name, right? It's Barney the Flagman. Now, what's the name of the safety car driver in iRacing, or the pace car driver?
I'll go with not Barney. I don't know. Maybe there are different pace cars. They're not. I don't believe there's different flagmen, but there are different pace cars.
There's a pace car truck.
You got the truck. You got the Porsche. I don't know. We got to work on that. They didn't get as famous during COVID-19 as Barney did, though. Barney took off. He got way too internet famous for waving that flag. He's waved it a lot today as well, that's for sure, and I'm sure we're not done yet. He's got to wave one right here as we close in. 53 laps to go on the restart. Wingfield once again leads him down to the green. Another great jump, and he gets the early lead once again. Side by side for second. Charles Robertson trying to go back-to-back runner-up finishes or maybe even get that first victory of the season. Big run out of turn number 2. Great charge out of the corner. He almost clears Andrew Allen into turn number 3. You can see that 0-1 kind of hopping back and forth. Little contact for the 4th spot. Big crash down the front straightaway. Caleb Hunt's turned. Cochran's in it. Devin Curl's in that one as well. And another car involved. That was Gavin Hinson who piled in. And another caution.
Another huge wreck after an immediate restart. Is it just the cold tires taking over these drivers? Let's get a replay of what happened to Caleb Hunt now.
That's another one Devin Curl was involved in. I don't think he got too much damage, but it almost looks like Cochran got the boot from Caleb Hunt and everyone got collected from there. Beckett Brown got damage. 07 did a great job avoiding, and nowhere for the 39 of Hinson to go.
Oh my goodness. Caleb Hunt now down 2 on the good, was running very well, now down into 18th position, and with this pit stop will potentially lose a few more. Devin Curl almost unscathed through there, still sits in the top 10 for now.
Yeah, somehow all he got away with was a slide of the tires. He ended up not pitting, so we'll see how he launches on this next restart. He has plenty of practice launching on these restarts. We've seen a few of them, but those tires insanely heated up after a slide like that. As another lucky dog given out, that's Jack Fiffner who gets this one, so he's back lead lap. Puts us with 19 drivers lead lap. As that, I believe, Form Energy number 55 gets back on the lead lap. A very beaten up number 55. Really every corner of that car has seen contact, but there's not many drivers in this field that haven't seen contact at every corner, whether it's corner of the car or corner of the track.
Now I've got another question for you, Connor, and this is one that has stumped a few people that I've talked to. So, have you heard of the man named Rooftop Ray?
I don't believe I have. No.
Oh my goodness, you don't know the Daytona 24-hour rooftop camera operator named Rooftop Ray? Okay, well,
I did not know about Ray, unfortunately.
now you know about Rooftop Ray. Well, I figured that there was a cameraman named for Martinsville as well, as we have this beautiful box camera here from the VSPEED broadcast booth. And I was wondering what the name of the cameraman was on top of the broadcast booth that we're sitting in right now, but I guess he doesn't have a name either, just like our safety car hand.
I know at least on Saturday nights, I commentate Saturday Night Racing League on VSPEED Saturday nights at 10 Eastern. Hopefully some of you guys watching tonight tune in for that tomorrow night as well. But as far as I know, the cameraman for that series is Dougie Beard. He provides all the cameras for that race. I don't believe he's provided the cameras for tonight, but I could be wrong. But that's the only cameraman on VSPEED I know.
That's very true. We can name the rooftop cameraman after Dougie Beard. You're absolutely right. How could I be remiss to exclude Dougie Beard from our commentary tonight? Thank you very much, and shout out to Dougie Beard for all of the cameras that you see tonight. If you're interested in checking out those cameras, check out Dougie Beard for his camera packs.
He does really good work. Especially the cameras on the inside of the turns have been getting such good views on these restarts. We've got some good views of some crashes as well. As also got some good views of all the marbles that are on the apron inside the corners on the Yellowwood branding. I mean, this is all over the place. It's maybe the reason why we are seeing so much sliding is all the marbles on the racetrack and all the rubber on the racing surface. But everyone's got to deal with it. Everyone's got the same racetrack to race on. As we're I'll be honest, I don't know the exact count of yellows. We've had a lot of them. I do believe we have the number somewhere, but I don't know off the top of my head. But there's been a lot, and there hasn't been too many big ones. Just a few incidents here and there where the track gets blocked, has to be a yellow, so the leaders don't pile in. But we've had a few of those here and there. But we've had some good racing for the lead throughout that, and closing out in the last fifth of this race, we'll go green here. 45 laps to go, and Wingfield's been in control since the 0-1's mistake.
Wingfield has run very well on these restarts, but now he's got the 0-1 right behind of Andrew Allen. Can he keep it tight on this restart to get a good run and a healthy gap between himself and the car wanting to be in first place?
Green flag back out. Good jump once again. Battle for second. We'll go side by side into turn one again. A good restart for Charles Robertson to DeWalt 17. Again side by side for the runner-up spot.
Charles Robertson getting a nose ahead on entry, but loses out on exit, and they're gonna touch door to door going through turn 3 and turn 4. It's gonna get a little chaotic and hectic now for the number 17 of Charles Robertson, and there is a driver off back in the deep end of the field. Is that the number 8? That's Dustin Lewis now throwing back, almost bringing out the caution, and that'll be a huge gap for the first 4 runners now in the field.
Yeah, top 4 get away. It's actually Isaac Brock who's gotten into 5th place through all this. Oh, spin behind him, 0-7. He actually ends up saving it. So Lauren Vincent goes to the rear of the field. Aaron Baum got some damage out of it. Points leader has not had a great day, but like you mentioned, those top 4 have pulled away because of that mini incident. Beckett Brown, he's now up to 30, just past Robertson. So 48's up to 3rd all of a sudden.
Man, oh man, just when you didn't think things were going to get exciting, they spice right up. And here comes the 27 of Christian Barnes challenging for the top 10 yet again. And there's a huge spin for the 45, and that's a solo spin into the wall. That will be Shobe getting collected in that one, but he's got it spinning in the right direction one more time. That'll leave a battle for Devin Curl and Colin Bollinger, who's getting a little swirly, and that'll be a huge crash for the 21, and that car's got some radiator damage.
And he's going to be out of the race for sure, but somehow no yellow. An aggressive move from Devin Curl. He ends up getting the best of it, and it looked like the worst of it definitely went to the 21. He's been involved in a lot of incidents not of his doing, and that one will probably end it. Battle still going at the front. Beckett Brown showing the most speed he has shown all race long. He's looking for the 2nd position, maybe on fresher tires. Look at the run he got out of turn number 2. He's looking for the runner-up spot. As the 21 goes to pit lane, we stay green, and Beckett Brown is on a charge to the front of the field.
What an amazing run, but it's not over just yet. He has to cover off the 0-1 down the inside line, and they touch, and that'll be a huge wiggle, but the 0-1 backs off and even gives up an additional position now to the 17 of Robertson as repentance there, but will it be enough?
With all the yellows we've seen, I thought the gloves were already off. They might still be coming off, actually, turns out. What a save from Beckett Brown. And I got to give props to Andrew Allen for at least straightening him out and backing off, letting him save it. I don't think he meant to hit him, but he definitely got him sideways. But Beckett Brown has stayed 2nd, put the 17 of Robertson in the 3rd. And all these mini incidents, once again, have spread this field out big time.
And that 48 machine might as well have a Marines livery plastered on it, because that thing has been to Warren back. Look at how much damage it has taken right now. He is not treating that thing fairly. Definitely rode hard and put away when a kiss to the wall is going to open up the door for the 17 now. Roberson's going to find a way through. They're going to go fully alongside, and that's a nice little gap there, but they're going to touch on entry, and the 48's going to get squirrely and not be able to recover, not until he loses the position to the 0-1 of Allen out in front.
Thought Beckett Brown was going to pull away. He looked really fast when he got by Andrew Allen, but he just quite hasn't had the pace since he slid the tires like that. And now instead, it's Charles Robertson who's ended up runner-up, and Rayshawn Wingfield has pulled completely away because of all the bumping and banging. It's about a 2.1 second race lead over the battle for that 2nd position.
Wow, what a gap now, and Andrew Allen has got to be kicking and screaming right now, saying, I should have been in control of the field, barring that mistake, and he's going to have a 2-second gap to make up. Now, is that something that is actually achievable to do at a short course like this as more cars collect the concrete barriers?
I think it's definitely possible with how good he looked earlier. He pulled away to a 2nd lead at the end of stage 1, looked really strong, but I think a big part of that was clean air. No one likes to talk about clean air at a track this tiny, but in these next-gen cars, it still makes a difference, and having a clean car still makes a difference as well, and Wingfield might have the cleanest car in the field for the time being. I'll knock on wood as we come to 30 to go next time by, because that could change in a hurry, but I don't put it past Andrew Allen, but he's got to get by the 17 in the next 5 laps or so, or else it's not going to happen. As Devin Curl, Beckett Brown, they're crossing each other over. That's the battle for 4th.
Devin Curl and the 48 of Beckett Brown right here, right now. Brown keeps on collecting that wall, but manages to stay ahead of Curl, who's been able to repair that damage to get back in the mix of things. Devin Curl's got to be grinning from ear to ear about how this race is potentially going to end up for him. Can't count your chickens before they hatch, though. Devin Curl, don't get too eager to get up into P4 just yet.
I think after everything he's gone through, as 46 misses the corner ahead, letting them by, I think you take a top 5, but it's never over till it's over. And we've seen that 15 get out of shape too many times today to call it too early. But both these drivers driving way over the entry to the corner right now, both missing the corner, both lost a lot of time to Colin Bollinger. We kind of forgot about the 53. He's still in this battle for a top 5 position. And when we get green flag running like this at Martinsville, the laps click off fast. We're already under 30 to go. We're about to close in on 26 laps to go next time by. And this is the best thing possible for Wingfield to have a run this long, to have a lead like this. But Charles Robertson, he has been closing back in.
Yes, he has, but this battle right here is unsettling my stomach just a little bit because we've stayed side by side for about 4 or 5 laps now, and finally they settle in single file line, and my stomach becomes a little bit more settled, but the 53 of Colin Bollinger wants to just get upset again, and the Diet Dr. Pepper machine tries to find a way around the outside of the 48 on the inside line.
Had a great dive to the outside into turn 3. He's able to carry so much more speed, and when Beckett Brown tries to carry that speed, he checks up contact, bumper tag there between the 48 and 53. They straightened it out, but Beckett Brown has been getting used up on this run. That's another bumper to the back of the 48 that time.
Man, oh man, and all of this battling ensuing brings out Barnes into the mix, the number 27 Domino's machine. Remember this car? He disconnected from the race and has come back into the mix. Absolutely phenomenal.
And he's all the way back up to the 7th position with a relatively clean race car. He's had to repair some damage. The right front was pretty damaged. He's gotten it repaired. He's probably got at least a little touch fresher tires. It won't make too much of a difference at a track where the fall off isn't great, but still making a difference to get him back into the top 7 right now. His battle for 2nd cools down a little bit, but this battle for 5th not going away.
No, it is not. Not anytime soon, as Brown leads Bollinger and Barnes right now, and potentially a little bit of a touch coming out of the final corner, and that sends a little wiggle for the 48, but it's not enough for the 53 to find a way through.
And Beckett Brown, I thought he had pace, maybe overdrove the tires, just not as fast, especially in 3 and 4. It seems that's where his weakest point is, and every time the 53 rolls through the center, he just kind of has to boot the 48 to tell him, hey, I got to go, man. It's the end of the race, and that's kind of the way it goes at Martinsville. But right now, the pace is good for Rayshawn Wingfield, but not faster than Charles Robertson. That gap was about 2 seconds. It's down to close to 1.4, and there's still lap traffic to deal with, so the 35 not out of the woods quite yet.
Track temperature has gone up just a hair, up to 80 degrees now, and still 66 degrees and cloudy. But here comes the 27. The door was open, or at least ajar, to the 27 on the 53, and the Domino's machine is looking menacing. We said they were separated earlier on in the race, but now the Domino's and the Diet Dr. Pepper machine have come back together to give us one delicious meal.
Oh, Charles Robertson, he is trying to hustle that thing. You don't think he's trying hard. He just booted Reggie Kime out of the way. Lap traffic, trying to close it on the race leader. That gap gets closer and closer. Every time I look at it, it's about 1.2 seconds now from the 35 to the 17. And Robertson, he's pulled away from Andrew Allen. Maybe it's damage, maybe it's dirty air, maybe it's old tires, but the 0-1 just not as strong since he lost that lead. Not able to close in like I thought he'd be able to, and the 17's pulled away from him.
17 doing a healthy job of forming a gap between himself and Andrew Allen right now. But right now, it's the leader of Rayshawn Wingfield who's managing to keep the gap at a healthy margin, even through traffic, finding that second of a gap. But as I say that, Slinky's back to under a second. And can Charles Robertson now find any way to get by Wingfield? It's a little bit of a gap. He's had the pace lap after lap a few times by, but as the clouds come back over the track in Martinsville, It's still undecided who can come out on top with just 13 laps left to go. It's been a fast and quick race, 237 laps under our belt already. Unbelievable, Connor.
And Robertson's pushing hard. It's down to 0.7 of a second, 13 laps to go, and it could come down to the wire. Through all the yellows, all the chaos, it could come down to a last lap pass. It could come down to a bump or a dump and run. Even third place, I wouldn't take Andrew Allen out of it quite yet. You never know what could happen, as that battle for third might close in as well, but not a good lap for Robertson. Lost about 0.2. He cannot afford to do that. Coming to 11 to go next time by, and the battle is tight.
On board with Robertson now, chasing down Wingfield lap after lap, ticking away, and just a few more remaining now. He knows his time is dwindling. It's ticking away like a time bomb. If you're Robertson in that number 17, what's going through your head, and how do you focus forward? That's Devin Curl in the number 15,
out of the
I
race.
think.
Yep, and he immediately left the race. There was no caution for it. Devin Curl, his up and down day, ends up on, out of it completely. There was a spin on the front straightaway. It was Colin Bollinger. So the 53, he spun from the 6th position. He and Beckett Brown, I think, finally crashed together. No yellow yet. The lead still in Wingfield's favor. We will stay green, but 2 top 5 runners have immediately pretty much been taken out of contention.
Man, oh man, and like you said, we stay green flag running as the 48. It spins
that's
the
payback.
53.
No yellow yet. Bollinger stops on track.
Oh man.
Will there be a yellow? Robertson stays in the 2nd spot. Bollinger, now he will get it rolling. We will still stay green through all of this chaos. The lead, Rayshon Wingfield, it's down to about 0.7 of a second. 7 laps of racing to go, and it's down to these 2 now.
Now, can you pull out 1/10 of a second every lap to close down the gap? Plus the bonus of also getting the move done on Wingfield. Now it's all up to Charles in the number 17. Can he do it? Lap traffic giveth. Lap traffic taketh away as we approach the final stages of this race. It's been a wild ride, but it all comes down to this at the end of the day.
They are 3 wide, not too far up ahead of the race leader right now. They could catch a number of lap cars by the end of this. 5 laps to go, 5 laps around the paperclip, and the 17 is closing. He is there. He gained about another 0.5 of a second. It's almost a half a second. The 17 Robertson, runner-up last week by 4 seconds. It's going to be a heck of a lot closer this time. Lap traffic will play a factor at the end of this race. That's lead lap cars battling for the 10th position. Just up ahead of the 35, Rayshon Wingfield has dominated the second half of this race, but it could be all for nothing as Robertson, the best run he's had all day, and he's so close to the leader.
He's so close. He keeps on pushing hard. He's grazing the concrete barriers. Now it's important to understand or look for if the cars that are still on the lead lap will give way to get lapped, or if they'll stay in their battles. And there's a spin out in front, and that's Fiftner, if I'm not mistaken, but he collects it and spins it in the right direction, and the 34 goes round, and I think he was touched by the 17 potentially, and there's a huge gap between first and second.
There's still no caution. The gap kind of increased there. That might be all Wingfield needs, but he needs it to go green, and he needs to get to the white flag, which is never a guarantee at Martinsville. We stay green. The 77 and 34, they keep it straight. We will make it to the white flag through all this chaos. One of the most chaotic races ever on iRacing, let alone in the short series history. White flag one more time around the paperclip. Robertson trying to close in, trying to have a bonsai move. Does he pull a Chastain? He will not be close enough. Rayshon Wingfield, top 3 all race. He dominates the second half. He just holds on in front of Charles Robertson. Rayshon Wingfield will win at Martinsville in the Slim Chickens NASCAR Cup Series. What a finish.
Absolutely phenomenal stuff from Wingfield to finish things out here. Charles Robertson in second, Andrew Allen in third, Brown in fourth, Barnes in fifth, Cochran in sixth, Andrew Baum in seventh, Dustin Lewis in eighth, King in ninth. Brad T. Nelson will round out your top 10.
Holy cow, I cannot believe it was as close as it was at the end. I did not expect Charles Robertson to get there. It ends up being a half a second difference, but it's the 35, Rayshawn Wingfield, picking up his first victory of the season, and he gets to burn it down on the front straightaway.
Enjoy your donuts. Enjoy those burnouts, Rayshawn Wingfield. You definitely deserve them tonight. That's for sure.
Rayshawn Wingfield, first victory of the season in the Slim Chickens NASCAR Cup Series, powered by Tier1SetupShop.com. We'll go through the running order. We'll go and interview the top three. We'll have a quick break, and just after the break, we'll interview your top three. We'll go over the finishing results, and we'll be right back from Martinsville. What a crazy and wild race. It might not get any more wild than that at Martinsville Speedway. An incredible finish at the end with all sorts of cars sliding out of control. Multiple contenders drop out late, but it's Rayshawn Wingfield who prevails. He survives Martinsville. He wins his first race of the season. It ends up being him starting sixth, finishing first, beating Charles Robertson to the line by just half a second. It ended up being right down to the wire, as it always seems to be here in Virginia. Robertson second. Andrew Allen, who dominated, swept the stages, could not convert it into a victory. Third place for him. Beckett Brown, he had a little controversy with Colin Bollinger. He ends up fourth out of it for now. Christian Barnes fifth. What a battle he had. Jacob Cochran sixth. Aaron Baum, we didn't talk about the series points leader all day. He ends up with a seventh place finish. Dustin Lewis, the 8 car, he finishes 8th. Zachary King, one of our onboard drivers, finishing 9th. And Brad Nelson recovered all the way back to the top 10.
Just outside the top 10 will be Wilson Isaac in the number 93 in 11th place, and then Jack Fiffner in the number 55 in 12th. Andrew Schob in the number 45 in 13th. Lauren Vincent in 14th. Reggie Keem in 15th. Colin Bollinger in 16th. Zach White in 17th. Devin Curl in 18th. John Ullman in 19th. And Gavin Hinson in 20th.
Alan Zukov, he ran the whole race 20-plus laps down. He ends up salvaging 21st out of it. Isaac Brock dropped out late, finishing 22nd. Caleb Hunt in that big crash into turn 1 ends up 23rd. River Hayes, so fast in the top 3. One restart mistake cost him a good finish. He ends up 24th. Jared Knopfsnyder, 25th. David Moyer started at the back, finished at the back, 26th for him. Harold Tucker, 27th. McCoy Benke, the last starter in this race, ends up in a 28th position, and then race control there joined accidentally. They'll be marked 29th, but won't get those points. But 28 drivers started, and really only about 18 to 19 of them finished. It was a little bit of a battle of attrition, but it was won by Rayshawn Wingfield.
It sure was. And now I think we're ready for our interviewers. Connor, you want to take us away?
I certainly would. And for the first time this season, Rayshawn Wingfield, he is up into the broadcast booth. Rayshawn, what a crazy race. First off, congratulations on the victory. You ended up leading 102 laps. It didn't really tell the full story with how crazy of a race this was. Just take us through really the last run of the race, especially. You got the lead after the 0-1's mistake, and then you got a big lead, but then here comes a 17. What was going through your mind that entire last run?
Yeah, I mean, I knew from the first 2 runs that I had a really good long run car, I had really good long run speed, and I just really hoped it went green at the end there when we got the lead. And yeah, those last 20 or so laps were pretty stressful because kept looking back, I seen the 17 like get closer and closer, and I knew there was some lap cars in front of me. I was kind of hoping I didn't catch the lap cars, which I didn't by the end of the race, just because I knew that would have gave the 17 like an opportunity to get to my bumper, get to my inside. And yeah, I was just really praying for it to go green. There was a couple of self spins there at the end with like 5 to go. My heart sunk. Yeah, it was pretty chaotic.
Pretty chaotic. I think that says the least about the race we just watched today, and you prevailed out of it, obviously, and you're able to hold on for the win. But take us through the entire race and the runs that we did get on when the tires got a little bit older. It just seemed like a lot of drivers were struggling for grip. What was that like, trying to get off the corners without looping anything? Because we saw a lot of drivers struggle with that today.
Yeah, I mean, on the long run, the couple of them that we had, I know like the first one, I was behind Andrew in second, and I couldn't match his pace or be a little bit faster than him. But like as soon as I got like 2 tenths behind him, it would just start like getting tight, then randomly stepping out, and it was just kind of trying to manage the throttle and staying off the curb and just keeping it clean without like not without losing time. It was yeah, I mean, I felt like my long run speed was relatively decent, but yeah.
Yeah, pretty decent, and ended up just being enough at the end of the race. Once again, congratulations to you. Your first win of the season, I believe your 4th start of this season, and first top 5 ends up being a win. That ends up being pretty darn good for you, Rayshawn. Anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, shout out to Colin, Jacob, Dustin, and everyone in Delusional and C4 I race with. Shout out to Daniel Plant Smith. He makes our paint schemes. Shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast, and shout out to Brandon Willard for putting on these races.
Well, I got to say, the paint scheme's good. We were talking about Coke Zero a lot tonight, so it ends up working out. It worked out for you for sure. Congratulations on the victory, Rayshawn. Thanks for talking to us. Hopefully, we'll see you next week, maybe.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
What a victory for Winkfield, excuse me. His first victory of the season. And the other side of the story, Charles Robertson, another runner-up finish, back-to-back weeks. Sagar, I believe you've got him on pit road.
I do. Charles, now let me ask the first question first. Robertson or Roberson?
Robertson.
Robertson. I said it wrong a million times wrong. I apologize profusely.
You owe me $5.
I know. Connor was telling me the whole night long. Get it right, you monkey. But what an amazing run you had tonight. You started in 13th position. Did you think you had it in the cards to finish in the top 3, let alone get the second spot on the podium?
I mean, I wouldn't say I didn't, think that I could get a top 3, but, there's some guys that wrecked out and some things went my way. But, yeah, I don't know, man. It's like I would catch the 35 a little bit, and I feel like some lap cars kind of slowed me down. But, yeah, it was was definitely a hard fought race for sure tonight. I just kind of missed out on some wrecks and stuff like that. So.
Well, things ended up going your way. You only finished a half second behind Winkfield at the end of the day. Now, tell me, what was one of your highlights or one of your favorite moments from this race? I'm sure you could pick a million of them, but you had so many good battles with so many other drivers. Was there ever a moment that you could claim to be your favorite tonight?
I don't know, man. I really wasn't paying attention who I was battling. I just knew, I knew I had a good car. I just couldn't get off the corner. I was running fourth gear a lot of the race, but towards the end there, I was running, downshifting to third, and I feel like that's what kind of gave me the momentum to kind of catch 35 a little bit. But yeah, I just ran out of time.
Yeah, well, you had the momentum there at the end to catch up to Andrew Allen and showcase your skills. P2's got to be feeling pretty good tonight. Anybody you'd like to shout out or anybody that you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, my teammates at Black Diamond and Isaac. Yeah, I'm glad I can get a top 5 or top 3.
Right on. Thank you very much for joining us in the booth, Charles. Have a great night, and as always, stay safe out there.
You too.
Next up, we're going to bring in Andrew Allen into the broadcast booth, brought to you by VSPEED.
Andrew, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, boys.
Well, it was looking so perfect until it wasn't. You swept the stages, led really the first 145 laps of the race for the most part. That one slide seemed like it cost you too much track position to get back up there. Just take us through what happened on the slide and how tough it was to get back up to the top 3.
I got throttle happy, a little too throttle happy, and I mean, I was able to get it going straight pretty quickly. Fell back to like 14th or 15th, and yeah, I mean, it wasn't that hard to get back up there. That caution came out at the perfect time, and took 2 tires then, and got back up to the front and just held it where I finished.
Held it where you finished, ended up P3, obviously dominated the first part of this race. It got up back to the top 3 pretty easily, like you mentioned. Just couldn't get back up to Winkfield, or you really couldn't get the Robertson. Was track position that important? Dirty air play a factor, tires, anything like that? Or was it just, just a matter of not having the speed in the car, especially with the left front damage you had?
That passing, I mean, it wasn't terrible. You could pass on the outside, you could pass on the inside. Like I said, I only took rights after that spin, so having those left sides down a little bit more compared to everyone else who took 4, definitely played a factor in that. So, I mean, I can't complain too much about a 3rd place finish.
Certainly can't complain about it, especially after how chaotic it was. 16 yellows, and you ended up coming through the field pretty cleanly to get P3. So I think you take that. And I believe your first start of the season, you end up leading the most laps. You end up with a top 3. Well, does that give you any confidence for any potential other races later in the season like this?
Uh, we'll see. I mean, I'm just a fill-in driver for Zach Davidson. He got called into work, so you guys might see me a little bit more, depending on his work schedule. Or you might be seeing other guys fill in. It's just kind of something we planned out a week in advance because we knew he was going to get called into work.
Well, for a guy who's sitting 7th in points, he could not have picked a better reserve driver to call for you. I mean, you just about won it. Great run for you. Not the win, but still awesome run for you regardless, Andrew. Thanks for talking to us. Anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I got a couple sponsors. First of all, everyone at Fast 11 Motorsports, teammates, everyone that drives for us, just shout out to them. Howtila Designs makes all my personal paint schemes. Great guy. If you guys need a paint scheme, get in contact with Jackson Howtila. And then our main team sponsor, Country Candles. It is a small business that I started. We make candles in mason jars. If anyone is interested, head over to Etsy at Country Candles 76 and use code Allen15 for 15% off.
I like candles, so I'll have to look into that myself. But regardless, Andrew, great run for you. Swept the stages, couldn't get the victory, but a P3 I'm sure you'll take as a spot start for you, basically. Thanks for talking to us, and maybe we'll see you in the next coming few weeks, possibly.
Absolutely, we'll have to see.
We'll see. Thank you.
Yep.
Wow, what 16 yellows. We finally got the official count, Sagar. 16 cautions in a 250 lap race in Martinsville, but that's just kind of iRacing. It's not uncommon. What a crazy race with a pretty exciting finish that came down to the wire. Any final thoughts?
just an amazing show. The Mystic Racing crew and Slim Chickens really have put together a showstopper of a series that is bound to entertain all that are involved. So if you want to get inserted into your sim rig and get involved in the racing action, I'm sure they can find some room for you. But thank you very much for having me alongside you, Connor. It's been a pleasure. But for now, I think it's time to call it a night.
I thank you for the production. You did the heavy lifting and pretty short notice for both of us. I will be honest, I came into here expecting to see Morgan cook. So it was a big shock to me as well, but I think we worked pretty well together. We'll have to do this another time sometime. But that's it for this week. One short track down, plenty more to go in the Slim Chickens NASCAR Cup season. 2 weeks we go to North Wilkesboro, but next week, same time, 8:15 p.m. Eastern, we go to the high banks of Texas Motor Speedway for 207 laps of action. So don't miss that. Also tomorrow night, I'll be on duty again at 10 p.m. The Saturday Night Racing League Season 6 rolls on. We get another race going. Remember, Bailey Turner kind of stole the victory there last week, and we'll get another race this coming week at Phoenix tomorrow. So should be a fun one. Tune in to VSPEED. We pretty much stream every single day. iRacing, sim racing. It's live on VSPEED every day, every night. But for now, that's going to be it. Once again, Texas next week, Slim Chickens NASCAR Cup Series, powered by Tier1SetupShop.com. From Martinsville, Virginia, for Sagar Bakshi, for Adam Baker, for Bradley Cooper, everyone who works for VSPEED, I'm Connor Horn, signing off for the night. Y'all have a good one, folks.